People in Salt Lake County have asked the county clerk to remove their signatures from the petition to repeal Prop 4. This comes after media reporting from KSL and others on a number of people feeling deceived about the nature of the petition by signature gatherers. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson is live with the latest. Heather?
Maria, this is about Prop 4, the law that created an independent commission to redraw congressional maps. And people like Emily O'Connor had asked to have their signature removed after feeling deceived by signature gatherers.
After the fact, I was like, I probably should have read that more. But when it's like 20 degrees outside and they're putting stuff in your face, you're like, yeah, I want to help this person.
Salt Lake County Clerk Lanny Chapman told KSL they've seen 1,100 people, which is about 1% of those who signed statewide, have asked to have their signatures removed.
This is the first time in Salt Lake County that we've seen such a large demand to actually have people's names taken off of the petition packets.
In comparison, only 12 people asked to have their signatures removed from last year's petition to overturn a ban on collective bargaining. Chapman says if you've changed your mind, you have 45 days to request to have your signature removed. You'll be able to hear more on this story on KSL TV tonight at 6. Reporting live, Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
This hasn't stopped the Utah GOP's effort to continue gathering signatures ahead of their Sunday deadline. They say it's all hands on deck as they try to push this effort over the finish line and get the necessary 141,000 signatures. They are holding a number of signing events tonight in Midvale, South Jordan, Riverton, Draper, American Fork, Lehigh, Kaysville, Tooele, and Syracuse. Speaking of the new maps, Ben McAdams is the first District 1 candidate to qualify for the primary ballot sent out in June. His campaign says he has 7,000 verified signatures, meeting that requirement. More than 5 Democrats have announced their candidacy since the newly drawn map was publicized. Hidden fees are causing stress and financial problems from renters across the state. Now lawmakers want to do something about it. Trash collection, processing rent payments, or even having a guest over are just a few of the fees causing Representative Tyler Clancy to propose a bill that would require landlords to advertise the total monthly rent cost.
These little fees at the end they create a bitterness to our economy that we don't want here in Utah.
Utah's Division of Consumer Protection would enforce the law. Director Katie Haas tells KSL that they can set whatever price they want. It just needs to be clearly shown. KSL's top national stories. The Department of Homeland Security is making major changes to the immigration crackdown in Minnesota. ABC's Karen Travers has details.
President Trump's border czar Tom Homan announced Thursday the administration's surge of law enforcement in Minnesota has ended and agents will now begin leaving the state. Homan claiming Minnesota is now, quote, less of a sanctuary state for criminals.
I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude. A significant drawdown has already been underway this week and will continue through the next week.
Homan was sent to Minneapolis last month following the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy, and as the administration was facing mounting pressure for its aggressive tactics on immigration enforcement. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says while he's cautiously optimistic, there's still a long way to go.
They left us with deep damage, generational trauma. They left us with economic ruin in some cases. They left us with many unanswered questions. Where are our children? Where and what is the process of the investigations into those that were responsible for the deaths of Renee and Alex?
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey echoed similar sentiments. The government has until tomorrow to pass another funding bill, or the Department of Homeland Security will shut down. Senate Democrats want some major changes to ICE, but so far the two parties have been unable to compromise. If the DHS shuts down, it will suspend all missions for the U.S. Coast Guard, furlough workers with the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, leave TSA workers without pay, and possible furlough of workers with FEMA. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. President Trump says the administration is repealing the endangerment finding. It's the foundational environmental rule for the federal regulation of greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin says the agency lacked the legal authority to determine the greenhouse gases and that greenhouse gases, endanger public health and welfare. Now, experts say there will be lawsuits filed challenging this move, and the case will likely end up before the Supreme Court. First Look Traffic. Good afternoon, Michelle.
Good afternoon, Maria. We're already at emergency traffic due to an RV fire. This is northbound I-15 as you're approaching the I-80 ramp to go westbound. That is closed at the moment. Also delays southbound I-15 due to another crash, Woods Cross into North Salt Lake. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. Keep in mind, it's not just you.
I owed roughly $34,000.
$61,000. When the IRS first contacted me, I was horrified.
When they start hounding you and harassing you and assaulting you.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
From what I got told was being done in a matter of 2 years, he had done in a matter of like 48 hours.
It's a great thing to have the IRS off your back.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
Once I signed on with Jordan, I never talked to the IRS again.
It changed our lives.
You need someone to fight for you. Visit endtaxworry.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit endtaxworry.com. That's endtaxworry.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Washington County Fair Legacy Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Starting price is too low to advertise. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. Deep discounts. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpa.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. More than 1,100 people in Salt Lake County want their signatures removed from a petition to get rid of Prop 4. It comes after KSL reported multiple instances where people say that the signature gatherers were misleading. KSL News Time, 12:08. 2 people were hospitalized after being hit by cars this morning, and one of those people got hit twice. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
These crashes happened at the intersection of 4700 West and 5600 South. The first person that got hit, it was a kid or teenager on the Kearns side of the street. The driver stayed there. And a man who saw what happened, he got out. Police say he crossed the street from the West Valley side to help the kid. And then another car came by, hit that man and the kid. Both were taken to the hospital, but they did not have life-threatening injuries. Police say the driver that hit both of them drove off. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Police are currently searching for a dark-colored SUV. Anyone with information should give them a call. One person is dead after a crash in Eagle Mountain. Utah County Sheriff's Office says it happened around the 6300 block of Eagle Mountain Boulevard. One of the cars actually caught on fire, and crews had to pull the driver out. They died just after that. That crash is under investigation. Another person was involved in an accident the Weber County Sheriff's Office says they were hit by a semi-truck. It was around 1100 West and 21st Street in West Haven. Luckily, the person is okay and was taken to the hospital with just minor injuries. We reported this morning on a city drug force in Price finding meth in fruit snack packages. Now police say the intention was not for the drugs to go to children. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
Price City Captain Brandon Ratcliffe says the stop happened last week when their plainclothes officers were conducting an investigation using community tips. He says they can't talk about the exact methods for finding disguised drugs.
But sometimes when you treat people with respect, you treat people like human beings, and you acknowledge that they might just have a problem, sometimes people are dishonest and they say, this is what I got.
Ratcliffe says often people in these circles are just trying to find creative ways to hide drugs from police, and in this case, the person was not trying to deal to children. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It is brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.4% on savings at uccu.com. And we do have emergency traffic coverage this noon hour. Michelle, what have you got for us?
Well, even though the delays are not as bad as they were, Maria, northbound I-15 going past downtown, the reason that we're still at emergency traffic is because the ramp to go westbound on I-80 from northbound I-15 remains closed due to an RV fire. That's right about 500 south off to the right shoulder, and that's been causing some slowdowns. That's backing up into about 9th south at this point. Now, for drivers making their way southbound I-15, we have another crash in North Salt Lake that is just north of the I-215 North interchange. That is still blocking 2 right lanes, traffic having to move over to the left to get past that, backing up into Woods Cross, and then wet roads probably caused this other wreck that's down in Payson. They're working on getting that one cleared now, but that was blocking the 2 left lanes. We're seeing another trooper pulling away right now, so it's off to the left shoulder, but that was causing some delays right about Main Street in Payson. Whipple Service Champions is Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services, and they're your first choice for offering honest second opinions. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, we've got a 51 dialed up for today. Chance for showers. Going to 35 overnight, drying out. 49 tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies. Keeping it partly cloudy on Saturday, 53. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And we've already hit that 51 degrees here in downtown Salt Lake City under cloudy skies. Coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos, we'll hear the Lieutenant Governor's thoughts on the SAVE Act and how it relates to what we've done here in Utah. That's coming up, streaming live at kslnewsradio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Take the first step. Visit CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to A to Z Savings, our biggest sale of the year.
Happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with Duralast rotors.
Free. Really?
Really? Free.
I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah. How much is that?
Free with the oil.
Free. Really?
Really. Free. It's part of A to Z Savings with hundreds of deals.
From A to free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Ends March 9th. Restrictions apply.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Elevate your dining at The Roof, now serving lunch and dinner. Enjoy city views and cozy favorites like signature steak, pork, or salmon entrees. Visit theroofslc.com.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
more than 1,100 people have now asked the Salt Lake County Clerk to have their signatures removed from the petition to repeal Prop 4. That's about 1% of the people who signed. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
Second, the Trump administration is repealing the endangerment finding. That's the foundational environmental rule for the federal regulation of greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. Third, traffic and weather together, Michelle.
Still have the westbound ramp to go on I-80 closed as you're making your way northbound I-15 due to a vehicle fire. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, another chance for showers today, then we dry out tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 51 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Major changes for federal environmental rules and regulations. President Trump, along with EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, announcing a rollback of the Obama-era endangerment findings related to greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S.
His EPA designated fossil fuels such as oil, gas, and other things that actually make factories rock and roll and other things drive very nicely as a threat to health and human welfare.
ABC's Karen Travers says easing the regulations could face legal hurdles.
This is likely to be the biggest rollback of climate environmental protections by this administration, and experts say it will almost certainly be facing legal challenges, and that could end up all the way at the Supreme Court.
Border Czar Tom Homan announcing the surge in immigration operations has ended in Minnesota, but Homan also says federal agents will work with state and local leaders to keep apprehending alleged criminals. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz voicing cautious optimism. 12 days into the investigation, authorities in Arizona back at Nancy Guthrie's home today and asking neighbors to review their home security cameras.
Today, the frantic pace of the investigation from earlier this week seems to have slowed as investigators look for any clue that might break the case. Today, they set up a tent at Guthrie's front door based on equipment. It appears they were taking digital forensic measurements, and then that tent came down. Now, neighbors are being asked if they have any Ring camera video from January 11th and January 31st. A suspicious vehicle may have been seen in the area. And the sheriff telling a local news outlet that 2 gloves have been found about a mile and a half away from Guthrie's home, but it's unclear if they're connected or just roadside debris. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Concerns on Wall Street over the downsides of artificial intelligence leading to a steep slide for stocks. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The SAVE Act has passed through the House. It would restrict mail-in ballots, require photo ID at polling places, and mandate that states get proof of citizenship before registering someone to vote in a federal election. Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson joined Inside Sources to provide some thoughts on it.
We are concerned. Not because we oppose voter ID. Our states already have voter ID. Most states do. We already do citizenship checks for our voters. That's not the problem. The problem is really technical in nature, largely. And you're right. This is effective immediately upon the signature of the president. And in the middle of an election year, it's going to be problematic. And I'll just lay out a couple of problems. The ID, the real ID that is required to register to vote under this bill is not the same kind of real ID that the state of Utah uses. So I don't know if everybody remembers years ago when we moved to real ID, every time you had to go re-up your driver's license, remember we had to dig up our marriage licenses and all of that and go take it to the driver's license division to get our new real ID, which then now that our DLD can confirm whether or not a person is a citizen, right, because of all of that work we did. Well, our driver's licenses don't say citizen or non-citizen on the actual card. Some states do. 5 states do. And they're Washington, New York, Minnesota, Michigan, and Vermont. Those are the only 5 states in the United States that actually use a driver's license that say citizen or non-citizen on the card. And those are the only ones that can be used to register to vote. So now in Utah, people will have to do it all over again with their driver's license and go find their birth certificates and their marriage licenses and all of the things that they've already done. And so that's really problematic. And to have it be in the middle of an election year is challenging.
The bill heads for the Senate, where several Republican lawmakers are skeptical. Traffic and weather together. It is brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Michelle, are we still in emergency traffic?
We are, just because the ramp to go westbound on I-80 from northbound I-15 in downtown, that remains closed, so you will need to use an alternate or delayed travel, which could cause some trouble for people trying to get to their way to the airport or headed out west. Now, for drivers making the way northbound I-15, we do have more emergency vehicles on the scene due to this RV fire fire that's right about 400 or 500 south off to the right shoulder. So traffic is slowing to take a look at that. You're backing in a little bit past 6 south at this point. Now for drivers making their way southbound I-15, we have another crash. This is in North Salt Lake, just north of the I-215, I-15 North interchange, still blocking 2 right lanes in that area. And then down in Utah County, we have wet roads and a crash that was causing some pretty good delays. It's in the final clearing stages, only 1 vehicle left now off to the left. This is northbound I-15 at Main Street area in Payson. Arrive in style for all of life's events, from the first suit to the first dance, preparing to serve or starting a life together. Every age, every milestone for nearly 60 years. Mr. Mack, helping you look your best for all of life's events. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. You got 51 today with a chance for scattered showers. Not everyone will get hit. 35 overnight, going to 49 tomorrow, partly cloudy. Dry weather through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with highs in the mid and upper 50s. Winds start to pick up on Monday, 58, mostly cloudy. More wind, but a chance for rain, snow showers on your Tuesday. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, 30% chance for a shower, 44. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy in downtown Salt Lake City and 51 degrees. This 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets, seeing a lot of red today. The Dow is down 400 points. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At the UPS store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS store. Be unstoppable.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time, 1224. Single-day tickets for Kilby Court are on sale today. headliners include Lord, the XX and Turnstile. Other popular artists like Hayley Williams of Paramore, Modest Mouse, Japanese Breakfast, and Alex G will be there as well. Now, the festival is May 15th, 16th, and 17th. Watching Utah's Money. Canadians are looking to visit the happiest place on earth somewhere besides the U.S. Reuters reports more travelers are going to Disney parks across the Atlantic. It's part of a larger tourist boycott prompted by President Trump's tariffs, threats to seize Greenland, and immigration enforcement. A new and expensive trend is catching on: shopping at luxury grocery stores. Wall Street Journal reports that shops are attracting Gen Z and the Make America Healthy Again curious individuals. The organic tag, mood lighting, and trendy looks are gaining attention. McDonald's affordability strategies and promotional deals are paying off. The fast food mogul reported same-store sales were up in the last quarter, 5.7% to be exact. What really drove it home was the Grinch meal that included some holiday socks. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow down by 422 points, sitting at 49,699. S&P down by 69. The NASDAQ down 1.5%, down by 340 points. More than 120 million Americans tuned into this year's Super Bowl halftime show, and now a piece of that show can be yours.
We've all by now seen the moving grass and the people hiding in it during Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show. Well, if you want to take a little piece of that home with you and keep it forever, you can. Some of the performers in the show are offering up their grass costumes from the performance on eBay. As of Thursday morning, the buy it now price for one of the costumes was around $5,000, and the current bid was around $500. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Tired of hot, uncomfortable dress shirts that don't hold up? Meet Serve Clothing. The mesh collar shield blocks sweat stains, and built-in vents keep you comfortable under suits in any season. Extra length stays tucked. Antimicrobial fabric keeps you fresh, and every shirt is backed by a 2-year guarantee. And right now is your chance to get the best for free. Head to serveclothing.com/win and enter for a chance to win $500 in free Serve shirts, so you can start your mission with gear that works as hard as you do. While you're there, get mission ready at the Serve Missionary Hub. Hear from recently returned missionaries. Get mission tips, advice, and more at serveclothing.com/win. Serve shirts sold out 4 times last year. Enter the $500 missionary giveaway and grab yours before they're gone at serveclothing.com/win. Serve Clothing. Dress shirts that actually serve you. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents aged 18 or older. Void where prohibited. Entry must be received by May 31st, 2026. One winner will receive a $500 credit to serveclothing.com. Official rules and details at serveclothing.com/win.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night, too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
My name is Tom.
My name is Cindy.
We give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
We know our time and money are going to the right places.
We don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for a loan transfer. Love where you bank. Michelle?
Still have the vehicle or a ramp closure, I should say. This is northbound I-15 for drivers that want to go westbound on I-80 due to a vehicle fire. Also, still delays for drivers southbound I-15 due to another crash between Woods Cross and North Salt Lake. Don't miss the Rocky Mountain Gun Show February 14th and 15th at Golden Spike Event Center in Ogden. Get 500 rounds of 9mm ammo for just $89. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for a high of 51 today. Still mild for February standards, but a chance for showers. 35 overnight, things clearing out. We'll go to 49, partly cloudy on Friday. Saturday, 53, mixture of sunshine and clouds. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 52 degrees downtown.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time, 12:30. KSL's top story this hour. A BYU football player is now charged with rape in Washington County, and newly unsealed court documents lay out what investigators say happened. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has been going through those records, and he has the latest. Eric?
Maria, the defendant is Parker Trent Kingston, a BYU wide receiver, now facing a first-degree felony rape charge tied to a reported assault last February. Court documents say a 20-year-old woman reported the altercation days later at St. George Regional Hospital. Investigators say she told them she had set clear boundaries before Kingston came over and told police she tried to stop what happened. Kingston has told investigators the encounter was consensual. Court records also show the case was initially sealed when it was filed this week, along with a no-bail warrant, but prosecutors then moved to unseal it. The warrant was later recalled because Kingston was booked, and his initial appearance is scheduled for Friday. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
A Utah congressman is pushing a bill in D.C. to ban foreign governments and their entities from giving money to U.S. colleges for NIL contracts, as well as sponsorships and media rights deals. Blake Moore tells the Deseret News he believes it risks undermining the integrity of the game and exposing universities to unintended foreign influence or national security concerns. Moore's legislation would still allow members of NATO, as well as Australia, New Zealand, and Ireland, to contribute to NIL deals if they want. Lawmakers are taking a stand against proposition betting in Utah. In Utah, gambling is already against the law, as outlined in the state's constitution. Some lawmakers say proposition betting is also gambling. Proposition betting is when a person can place bets that are more specific than just the result of a game, such as who will score the first goal. And Representative Joseph Ellison says it goes beyond sports.
It's not just exclusive to sports, because as you know, prop betting can be, Donald Trump is going to wear an orange tie, yes or no, bet $50, right?
Ellison's bill only adds an amendment to the state statute defining gambling, and he is quick to point out that this will not affect games that involve some skill like fantasy football. A Utah lawmaker wants to allow pharmacists to prescribe vaccines and make it easier for people to get EpiPens and other basic medication. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
State Senator Evan Vickers' bill wouldn't really change what you experience when you go through a pharmacy to get a vaccine, but it would streamline the process pharmacists have to go through. Benjamin Jolly, a pharmacist at Jolly's Compounding Pharmacy in Sugar House, tells me for a long time they had to get a doctor to sign off when someone asked for a vaccine. But this bill would codify the temporary federal power pharmacists got during COVID to skip that step.
I think that's a good thing from just a clarity and who has access to your health records.
Senator Vickers also wants to allow pharmacists to prescribe EpiPens, something Jolly says they haven't been able to do before.
Broadening access to the medicine doesn't seem like a bad idea to me at all.
And to top it off, the bill wants to allow pseudoephedrine, which is in most basic cold medicines, to be sold online in Utah. Lawmakers passed the bill in its first committee hearing today, but it still has a few hurdles to clear to reach the governor. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A bill banning the open carrying of guns in schools has been put on hold. This bill would prevent someone with a concealed carry permit from carrying the gun openly. Clark Kaposhian with the Utah Shooting Sports Council doesn't like the bill because of accidentally open carrying.
Getting out of your vehicle and then walking to the back door to put your jacket on, you're openly carrying a firearm at that point for those that are otherwise concealing it. Or on a windy day, or your jacket gets hung up. That's inadvertent or accidental. Yeah, you're going to be in violation of HB 180.
Representative Andrew Stoddard, who is sponsoring the bill, says he found out yesterday that there are some things members of the committee don't like about the bill, but he's not sure it can be rewritten in a way that the committee will support. KSL's top national stories. A federal judge has blocked the Pentagon from punishing Senator Mark Kelly over a video about disobeying illegal orders.
In a biting opinion that chastised Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, a Republican-appointed judge on Thursday blocked the Defense Department from trying to punish Senator Mark Kelly over a video he and other Democrats made urging service members not to follow illegal orders, accusing Hegseth of trampling on Kelly's First Amendment rights. Today's decision comes 2 days after a grand jury in Washington declined to indict Kelly and the other lawmakers participated in the video. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Other national stories KSL is following. Investigators in Tucson are actively working around the home of Nancy Guthrie looking for answers into her disappearance.
Today, the frantic pace of the investigation from earlier this week seems to have slowed as investigators look for any clue that might break the case. Today, they set up a tent at Guthrie's front door based on equipment. It appears they were taking digital forensic measurements, and then that tent came down. Now, neighbors are being asked if they have any Ring camera video from January 11th and January 31st. A suspicious vehicle may have been seen in the area, and the sheriff telling a local news outlet that 2 gloves have been found about 1.5 miles away from Guthrie's home, but it's unclear if they're connected or just roadside debris. Alex Stone, ABC News.
First look traffic, and here's Michelle Rowe.
If drivers making their way northbound I-15 to take the westbound I-80 ramp, that remains closed due to a crash vehicle fire. Also still delays southbound I-15 Woods Cross into North Salt Lake. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35. Well, I've been telling you for the past couple of years how I was able to lose weight and take it off pretty simply with the help of Salt Lake City Fat Loss. Right now, they want to make sure anyone that has just given up on their New Year's resolution gets kind of a reset, and they are offering $200 off to help you get back on track through the end of February. This is a great program. It's doctor developed. It's a 60-day program. It's all natural, and it just burns off that fat very quickly. Many people lose up to 1 pound per day. There are no injections, no drugs, no workouts, and no prepackaged meals. And what that means is this program is less expensive than other programs. You don't have to pay for things like breakfast bars. Plus, you know what? We all need a plan to take off the weight. We need accountability, and they have a great app. It gives you great resources. It gives you recipes so you don't get bored with the food that you eat, and it keeps you accountable. Plus, you can always ask questions at any time. There's a nutritionist standing by to help you with your own personal questions. Take advantage of this sale right now, $200 off before the end of February, slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Ready for your next vehicle? At Performance Automotive in Bountiful, your new Ford, Toyota, or Honda is here. Built for Utah communities, canyon weekends, and everything in between. Choose capability with Ford, long-lasting reliability with Toyota, or smooth efficiency with Honda. Backed by friendly experts and financing options that fit your budget. Visit Performance Ford, Performance Toyota, and Performance Honda for your test drive. Browse inventory, check pricing, and schedule your visit at performancebountiful.com. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, driven to be the best.
This week's movie show brought to you by Sound Sleep. Get a free sleep screening and a free sleep consultation by tuning in on Friday morning. Sound Sleep with 7 locations in Utah.
Women go through many changes in their lives, and we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. We're learning more about the BYU football player arrested on suspected rape charges. KSL News Time, 1237. A bill aimed at exploring a nuclear fuel recycling facility here in Utah is headed for a vote in the House of Representatives. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff has details from the state capitol.
This bill would set up the development of a campus to reuse spent nuclear fuel. Emmy Lisofsky is the director of the Utah Office of Energy Development.
When fuel comes out of a reactor, it still has a lot of energy left in it, and there's all kinds of opportunities to reuse that fuel. And as technology has improved, the ability to reprocess it and utilize that further for a benefit is being explored and developed, and so we're just looking at how we could potentially be part of that.
Nathan Hull spoke out today against this bill.
A lot of these nuclear bills, they're moving very fast.
Hull says it would be better to spend money on researching renewable fuels rather than exploring nuclear energy. Reporting from the Utah State Capitol, Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
A team of BYU students came in first place in an international quantum physics competition in Boston. 5 students, 4 from BYU, traveled to Boston to compete in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology's IQ Hack, where thousands of students from around the world had just 24 hours to solve quantum physics challenges. After competing against 9 other teams and winning first place, Kai Sandberg on the BYU team says one reason is his team has stood out to one reason his team stood out to the judges was the leg up they gave another struggling team.
No one else is really offering to help them when they reached out because it was just really competitive.
This was the first time a BYU team competed in MIT's IQ Hack, let alone won. A West Jordan Marine veteran who lost his left hand in Iraq is now winning fights in the octagon. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera shares why his son is a big motivation behind it.
Brandon Mendez was deployed to Iraq in 2007 when he was hit by a suicide bomber and says he spent years recovering and trying to find his purpose again. Now he's training and fighting locally, and after winning his first MMA match, he says he's hoping his story inspires others, especially his 6-year-old son.
When he grows up, I want him to be able to be proud of me. I want him to grow up and think like, if my dad can do this with all these obstacles in front of him, then I can do, anything in this life. I hope that not just my son, but other people look at it that way as well.
Mendez fights for Fierce Fighting Championships, and just 2 fights in, he's already chalked up a win. He says he's now hoping to find his next matchup sooner than later. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Again, a heads up for drivers making their way northbound I-15 right around Salt Lake. We still have several emergency vehicles on the right shoulder. This is right about 400, 500 south. The ramp to go from northbound I-15 to westbound I-80 remains closed, so you will need to use an alternate in that area due to a vehicle fire. Now, for drivers making their way southbound I-15, you have your own troubles as you're making your way toward downtown. The delays are going to start in the Woods Cross area. That's going to go down to North Salt Lake, where we have a crash that's blocking the 2 right lanes as you're approaching the I-15, I-215 interchange. Whether you park it, stripe it, or pave it, GoPave Utah has your blacktop covered at GoPaveUtah.com. That's GoPaveUtah.com. Call or visit GoPaveUtah.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Almost spring-like today with a high of 51 and a chance for showers. How about a 49 tomorrow, drying out, partly cloudy. 53 with a mixture of sunshine and clouds on Saturday. Mostly cloudy, 56 Sunday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's mostly cloudy, 52 degrees now in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday, you're hearing from a local chocolatier about how they prepare for Valentine's Day. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something just as important, that your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts or commitments, so while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting, your Xfinity internet price won't budge. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform, and guess what? You'll still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get their best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed. Just $50 a month, plus get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 monthly value. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say?
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse, cause you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot of them mixed up.
People who live in glass houses,
here it comes,
shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world, like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you and less for Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth 2 in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. It does, you know.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
KSL News Time, 1245. Breaking news, Senate Democrats have blocked a bill that would have funded the Department of Homeland Security. Lawmakers say the bill did not include any restrictions on immigration enforcement, like banning ICE agents from wearing masks and requiring them to show proper identification. Funding for that department runs out tomorrow. KSL News Time, 1246. 3 things that you need to know this hour. First,
BYU wide receiver Parker Kingston is now charged with first-degree felony rape in Washington County, and newly unsealed court documents outline what investigators say happened in a case this time last year. I'm KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, a kid was hit by a car along the West Valley-Kearns border this morning, and then a man who tried to help the child also got hit by a car. Third, traffic and weather together, Michelle.
The ramp to go from northbound I-15 in Salt Lake to westbound I-80 remains closed. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, we've got some lingering showers today, highs in the 50s, then drying out tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 52 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Nearly a generation of federal EPA regulations that drove climate policy are being repealed by the Trump administration. President Trump and the head of the EPA announcing a rollback of the 2009 endangerment finding. ABC's Selena Wang has more.
So what does it mean to do away with this determination? Well, it means that this administration, that the federal government is not going to be regulating key pollution sources as they have been for the last 17 years. No surprise there has been outrage from climate and scientific groups.
The change is likely to face legal challenges. The surge of federal agents in Minnesota has ended. Border Czar Tom Homan making that announcement today, but he says immigration operations will continue with state and local authorities. In Arizona, investigators returning to Nancy Guthrie's home today, concealing the front porch briefly with a tent in search of clues, and the Pima County Sheriff is requesting neighbors provide ring video footage from specific dates in January. This is ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. The Valentine's Day is almost here, and a lot of Utahns will start swinging by the store for flowers and chocolates. Mike Wall, owner of Mrs. Kavanaugh, says that they are having a very busy month, but how do they even prepare for such a big holiday? Wall says they take a look at their numbers from last year and predict how much they'll need this year.
Valentine's is probably our second busiest holiday after Christmas. We do about 20-25% of our business during Valentine's. So luckily we have the holidays. So it's a really, really, really good holiday for us. And generally what will happen is we get the women coming in the last part of January, the first part of February, and then starting about the 3 or 4 days for Valentine's. Until Valentine's Day, it's mostly men that are coming in.
He says they'll make around 30,000 personalized heart boxes for the holiday.
The reason Christmas is larger than Valentine's is because Christmas extends from November through December, where Valentine's is really a short, intense holiday. So pretty much the end of January, people start thinking about it through the 14th of February. So really it's like a 3-week period where we do that much volume. So it's quite a busy, intense holiday for us.
The cost of chocolate, though, has been difficult for many small businesses.
We are actually doing good. We've tried to hold our numbers as much as possible and consume all the cost on our end and not raise our prices. So it has definitely been a huge mountain we've had to climb up. And then luckily chocolate prices are actually starting to come down a little bit. So that's helping us out. No, they're not down to back where they used to be, but at least they're down a little bit. So that's been great. So we have not increased our prices like a lot of companies had to, because we actually had a good supply of chocolate build up before the prices went way up. So we've been able to take advantage of that somewhat.
He says they also do specials like chocolate-covered strawberries. This year, they are expecting to do around 15 to 20,000 of those. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Again, Maria, they still have the ramp closed northbound I-15 to go westbound on I-80 in the Salt Lake area. That's due to an earlier vehicle fire, and they still have emergency vehicles that have that right area blocked off. Now, for drivers making their way southbound I-15 from up north down into the downtown area, we still have a crash that is blocking the two right lanes. The crash is in the North Salt Lake area, just north of the I-15, I-215 interchange. Traffic still backing up into the Woods Cross area. Again, you will have to move over to the 3 left lanes. And we have wet road conditions down in Utah County. It's UTA. It's never just a ride from point A to point B. We move independence. We move purpose. We move memories. We move what matters. You plan your trip at rideuta.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. I've got a 51 today with scattered showers. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 49, dry. Keeping that dry weather through your weekend with highs in the 50s. You'll notice on Sunday, mostly cloudy, 56. We bump it to Monday, 58. Breezy out of the south, mostly cloudy. Then we'll pick up on some rain snow showers on Tuesday, 48. Windy there. And then another chance for showers, mostly cloudy generally, by Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, mostly cloudy, 52 degrees downtown, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets, a bit of improvement over the past half hour, but not a whole lot. Complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
At the UPS store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS store. Be unstoppable.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Grand Staircase Escalante is under attack.
Utah politicians are hastily racing to dismantle protections for this special place, one of America's most treasured national monuments and an important part of southern Utah's economy.
An overwhelming majority of Utahns support protecting the Grand Staircase for future generations.
Yet our voices are being ignored by those meant to represent us. Now's the moment to speak up. Learn more about this attack and what could permanently be lost at suwa.org.
Paid for by Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time 12:54. A rescued manatee is recovering at SeaWorld Orlando after crews pulled it from a Florida storm drain. City worker in Melbourne Beach spotted the 410-pound male stuck during a storm drain survey. A SeaWorld spokesperson says the manatee was breathing on its own and moving independently. Watching Utah's Money. Anyone with Russian friends or family will need to figure out a new way to communicate. The country has banned U.S. messenger app WhatsApp. Kremlin says it has failed to comply with local law. Instead, they are suggesting locals use their own messaging app, Max. Ford is moving away from the electric vehicle craze, even though the company just bought an 8 million square foot factory to produce them. Wall Street Journal says now the automaker is planning to use it to make large batteries for data centers and other companies. Now, the housing shortage has people looking for unique solutions, and that includes 3D printed homes. Really? Fox Business reports it places a lot of the framing process. It's giant printers using concrete instead of some plastic filament. And taking a look at your money at this moment, markets have been in negative territory all day, with the Dow now down by 364 points, sitting at 49,757. S&P down by 68 points. The NASDAQ down by 350 points. A charter bus suffered a deadly crash in Iowa. ABC's Dave Packer reports.
At least one person died when a bus carrying members of the Iowa Lakes Community College baseball team, confirms the school, turned over into a ditch. It happened late Wednesday morning on Iowa Highway 4, about 2 hours northwest of Des Moines. Iowa State Trooper Paul Gardner said there were 33 people on the bus when it crashed.
We've had life flight helicopters, ambulances from all over the area that have been transporting the occupants to regional hospitals.
Gardner says all others on the bus sustained minor to serious injuries. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Valentine's Day is a moment to pause and celebrate the love that fills your life. Duke's Jewelers in Springville believes every love story deserves something timeless, something chosen with intention and given from the heart. This Valentine's season, explore pieces that speak without a single word. Dazzling diamonds that catch the light, rich gold that feels classic and enduring, and colorful gemstones that tell a story all their own. Whether you're marking a first Valentine's together, honoring decades of devotion, or simply wanting to make someone feel cherished, Duke's Jewelers is here to help you find the perfect piece. Duke's Jewelers will guide you with care, offer thoughtful suggestions, and even wrap your gift beautifully so you can enjoy the moment, not stress over it. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Springville Main Street and discover a gift that will be treasured long after February 14th is passed. Because love is worth celebrating in the most meaningful way. Duke's Jewelers. Love elevated.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time 12:59. Traffic and weather is brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
We're looking at pretty good conditions out there. Still have the closure of the westbound ramp from northbound I-15 to go westbound I-80, and some delays still continue southbound I-15 due to a crash blocking the true right lanes. This is going from Woods Crossing to North Salt Lake. Get Go tickets now for the ultimate romantic date night. Choose Chicago Nights or Romeo and Juliet, April 6th through the 11th. Visit odysseydance.com for tickets, discounts, and details. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
And taking a look at the forecast for the Wasatch Front, still a 60% chance of showers today, but then decreasing to a 10% chance tomorrow. And then it looks like we are shower-free for the weekend, and our temperature is coming back up to near 60 by Monday. We're going to be about 58 degrees. In downtown Salt Lake City, 50 degrees. Some of the area temperatures right now. Provo at 47, Logan at 43, Park City, the cold spot with 36 degrees. And then let's see, where is St. George this hour? St. George this hour, a very pleasant 62 degrees.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
With just days to go until the signature gathering deadline to repeal Prop 4, the pressure is on. But many who signed early on telling KSL they are now removing their names because they feel misled.
After the fact, I was like, I probably should have read that more. But when it's like 20 degrees outside and they're putting stuff in your face, you're like, yeah, I want to help this person.
The time is 1 o'clock on Thursday, February 12th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, just how far does the movement to repeal the Independent Redistricting Commission have to go? And what are county clerks saying about the numbers of people asking to remove their signatures? We'll get an in-depth look in just a few minutes. Also this hour, investigators in Arizona now asking Nancy Guthrie's neighbors to review security camera footage from two very specific dates, days, and weeks before her disappearance.
How they narrowed it down to those dates, I'm going to guess, is because of a tip.
A live update from Tucson coming up in 15 minutes. But first, our top stories. 2 people are in the hospital after getting hit by cars along the border of West Valley City and Kearns this morning, and one of them was hit twice. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
This all went down at the intersection of 4700 West and 5600 South. First, a kid or teen was crossing the street on the Kearns side of the road. Police say they were hit by a car. A man saw what happened, wanted to help the kid, but a second car came by and hit both the man and the kid. They were taken to the hospital. We're told the injuries were not life-threatening, and the driver that hit both of them, police say they drove off.
Investigators are currently searching for a dark-colored SUV, and they are now asking anyone with information to give West Valley City Police a call. Our top national story from ABC News. Investigators in Tucson are still actively working around the home of Nancy Guthrie, looking for answers into her disappearance. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Today, the frantic pace of the investigation from earlier this week seems to have slowed as investigators look for any clue that might break the case. Today, they set up a tent at Guthrie's front door based on equipment. It appears they were taking digital forensic measurements, and then that tent came down. Now, neighbors are being asked if they have any Ring camera video from January 11th and January 31st. A suspicious vehicle may have been seen in the area. And the sheriff telling a local news outlet that 2 gloves have been found about a mile and a half away from Guthrie's home, but it's unclear if they're connected or just roadside debris. Alex Stone, ABC News.
It's now been 12 days since Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her home and a full week since authorities have spoken publicly about their investigation. So far, no known suspects and no sign of Guthrie. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 350 points, sitting at 49,770. S&P down by 68, and the NASDAQ, it's off by 1.5%. It's down 362 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Just a heads up for drivers, Maria, if you're making your way northbound I-15 past downtown and you're wanting to use the westbound ramp for I I-80. That it remains closed due to an earlier crash vehicle fire. And also delays for drivers southbound I-15. The 2 right lanes are closed due to a crash between Woods Cross and North Salt Lake. The Good Feet store supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a few lingering showers across the Wasatch Front, but decreasing to a 10% chance tomorrow and then no chance over the weekend. Right now, 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Every day here in Utah, people turn to KSL News Radio for one simple reason: trust. Trust for our reporters, hosts, our coverage, and trust in the businesses heard right here. I've met so many of our listeners over the years, and they'll tell you KSL is part of their daily routine, in the car, at work, at home. And when they hear your business here, it carries the weight of that trust. It isn't just another ad. It's a recommendation coming from a reliable source. When you advertise on KSL News Radio, you reach a loyal, highly engaged audience who listens intentionally. They show up for breaking news, accurate information, and meaningful conversations. And because of that connection, they respond. And when you pair our on-air credibility with digital tools like display advertising, social media, streaming audio, search, geo-targeting, and retargeting, you get a full funnel strategy that works and reaches the right people at the right time. Get marketing that truly moves the needle. Partner with the voice Utah trusts. KSL. Learn more at kslnewsradio.com/advertise.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. There's a growing effort today to get people who previously signed the initiative to repeal Proposition 4 to get their signatures removed. Some county clerks have told KSL this is the most they've ever seen people asking to remove a signature. The current effort to gather signatures to repeal the proposition, which created the Independent Redistricting Commission, is running up against the clock. All signatures are due by Sunday, February 15th. KSL.com political reporter Bridger Beal-Svetko joins me to talk about this whole process and why we're still talking about it.
Those trying to organize the effort to repeal Proposition 4 from the ballot have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to collect enough signatures across the state in each Senate district to qualify that for the ballot. At the same time, we're seeing an oppositional effort to convince people to remove their names after they've signed. They have 30 days to do so after their name has been posted on the Lieutenant Governor's website. So we're facing one deadline in a couple of days and then an ongoing effort from the opposition group to have people take their names off of that petition.
So at this point, do we know how many people are actually doing this?
Yeah, there are the latest numbers of those who have signed the petition. There's about 85,000 statewide. They need about 141,000. So far, we've tracked almost 1,500 people across the state of Utah who have spoken with their county clerk, requested to have their name taken off of those petitions. The vast majority of those, I think around 1,100, come from Salt Lake County, which is the most populous, but that's where we're seeing the most action of people trying to take their names off.
All right. For perspective, KSL spoke with a voter named Emily who said she was trying to get her signature removed from this effort, and she told KSL she felt duped into signing it in the first place. Well, let's take a listen and then talk about her concerns.
Didn't feel great because I thought I was doing something to help somebody who was petitioning for something they were caring about. So then to find out that it was out-of-state hires, like this mass blanketed campaign, that I didn't feel confident in the system and that I would be able to contribute and like trust the next thing that happened, because how are we supposed to know if people aren't doing it, honestly?
Did you feel misled?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was after the fact. I was like, I probably should have read that more. But when it's like 20 degrees outside and they're putting stuff in your face, you're like, yeah, I want to help this person. But knowing after the fact that it was deceptive, that you don't feel great about it.
So, Bridger, I understand Emily is not alone, that there are quite a few people asking to remove their signatures from the initiative that would repeal Prop 4.
Yeah, she's not alone. And we've talked to several voters who say they have felt similarly misled. Myself and another colleague have gone out and talked to signature gatherers. Most of the people that we talked to have been very upfront, very informative, but we've had a couple of face-to-face interactions where we were misled or they didn't go through the proper steps. And so that's probably part of the reason why we're seeing some of these people asking to remove their names. They also could have changed their mind. But we have talked to people who have felt misled, although the group that Utahns for Representative Government, which is backed by the Utah Republican Party, this is the group that's trying to place the repeal on the ballot. You know, they say there are a handful of people that aren't doing it right, but the majority of signature gatherers are informing the public and, you know, going through the right process. But we have heard from several people who have felt misled about why they signed.
KSL also spoke to Salt Lake County Clerk Lanny Chapman about the effort to remove those signatures.
As we know, this is a statewide initiative, so people are going around statewide asking people to sign their packets. This is the first time in Salt Lake County that we've seen such a large demand to actually have people's names taken off of the petition packets. Almost 1% of all of the total signatures that have been received throughout the whole state. In Salt Lake County, we've received 1% of that, approximately, over 1,100 requests to remove people's signatures.
Okay, Bridger, have you heard from other county clerks who have seen a similar thing?
Yeah, we've talked to just about every county clerk out there. Most counties have had a handful of requests. Salt Lake County is by far an outlier. Most county clerks don't actually track the specific number of requests year to year. We were hoping to compare this to previous initiatives like the original Proposition 4 in 2018. Anecdotally, we have heard from the Utah County Clerk as well that he's seen a slight increase. He didn't describe it as dramatic as what we're seeing out of Salt Lake County. But it's hard to get a real sense of definitively whether or not this is more than at other times. But most other counties have between 1 and maybe 100 requests that they've received in the last couple of weeks to have people's names removed. Is
there any sense as to why Salt Lake County has more of those? Were there just more signatures gathered, or what do you think is happening there?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Salt Lake County is the most populous county. They're going to have more signatures. I think about a third of the state's population lives there. So just statistically speaking, you're going to see more in those bigger counties. I couldn't speak to why it's out of proportion compared to even with Utah or Davis County, which have seen a couple hundred each maybe. But it seems like there are more people in Salt Lake County that are changing their mind or realize that they actually didn't want to sign what they signed.
What is actually the process to remove a signature from an initiative effort? Is it pretty complicated?
It's a little harder than putting your name on a signature. We've heard from a lot of people that you can sign it. In order to get it off, you have to send a written letter to your county clerk. You can take it into their office or you can mail it in. But you have to physically write to them, telling them your name, asking to have your signature removed. As the packets are counted, people's names are posted on the Lieutenant Governor's website. At this point, once your name is posted on the website, you have 30 days to request that your name be removed. So you can't wait too long, but you'll need to reach out to your county clerk directly.
Anything else interesting that you've noticed covering this story?
It's a high-profile issue. I think there's Like I said, there's just a couple of days left to get signatures. We've seen out of state groups, Turning Point USA, President Donald Trump get involved in this effort. So there will be a couple of high-profile signing events over the weekend if people want to put their name to these petitions. So that'll be interesting to see whether they can, get the tens of thousands signatures that are still outstanding that they still need if they want to qualify this repeal for the ballot.
KSL.com political reporter Bridger Beal-Svetko joining me. KSL investigator Danielle Rivera has also been working on this story alongside Bridger, and we'll have a full report coming up on KSL 5 TV at 6 o'clock. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Washington County Fair Legacy Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Starting price is too low to advertise. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. Deep discounts. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpa.com.
Law enforcement in Pima County, Arizona now asking neighbors who live around Nancy Guthrie to check their security cameras for footage not from the night that she went missing, from a time days and weeks before her disappearance. The sheriff's office says they're interested in anything caught on January 11th between 9 p.m. and midnight and January 31st between 9:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. Joining me now live on Midday is Heidi Hummel from our sister station KTAR. She's there in Tucson this hour. And Heidi, those are very specific times. Any idea why they are asking for those specific things?
Yeah, Maria, they are indeed. And the Pima County Sheriff's Office just sent out a statement saying that they want neighbors to look at their footage for basically the whole month of January, from January 1st to February 1st. Now, we're told that some of the neighbors in the area actually got a notification from their own Ring cameras. Now, Nancy had a Nest camera, but the neighbors that have Ring got those specific details. Those time frames you just mentioned were sent directly to neighbors via their own home surveillance systems. And I guess there was a suspicious car or a car hanging around Nancy's house or that neighborhood on January 11th. That's that date. And then February 1st was the last time Nancy was ever seen alive. But it's interesting that they want to know what was happening in those morning hours. Maybe they have reason to believe that this was a targeted abduction, that it wasn't random, and they really want to find some more clues.
All right. We saw a tent go up earlier today around Nancy's front door, and then it was removed. What exactly were investigators doing with that tent?
Yeah, and it's unclear who even put this tent up. We don't know if it was FBI or private investigators, but we did see some private investigators go to Annie's house yesterday, and they came out with they're wearing gloves and came out with a brown paper bag. So maybe law enforcement went in and took out some more evidence, and they just want to kind of conceal it, hide it from the media, whatever evidence they are taking out, because, Maria, there is media staked out outside the house for about 1/8 of a mile in either direction, just cars lining the whole side of the road and even up some of the blocks. And the sheriff actually did confirm moments ago, within the last hour, that investigators did find a pair of black gloves in the desert yesterday. That was kind of the big development yesterday. We could see a bunch of federal investigators sort of combing the desert brush around Nancy's house, around that Catalina Foothills neighborhood. And then the sheriff finally confirmed they recovered those gloves and that any viable evidence is sent in for analysis. So hopefully they can get some DNA off of that and find out whoever took Nancy Guthrie. It's been almost 2 weeks and there's still no suspects.
When we talked to you yesterday, we were talking about how the investigators are pretty much scouting the entire area, just looking out there in the desert for any possible clues. Are they still doing that today? What is happening today?
I haven't seen anyone out there today. The only movement we've seen around the house is those that law enforcement put up that tent around 8 a.m. for about an hour, and to kind of conceal the front door of Nancy's home, and then took it down. But I haven't seen anyone combing the desert kind of landscaping around the neighborhood today. They were pretty thorough in doing that yesterday. And the sheriff did say they found not just the gloves, but he said they found evidence, but he's not getting detail as to what it is. So hopefully there's more evidence. Hopefully they found more clues that can, find whoever did this.
You weren't getting updates, but yet you have heard from the sheriff today, which is a little bit new, isn't it?
Yeah, they're releasing information on Twitter, on social media, but they said no press conference today still. So it's been 1 week since the last press conference, and there will be no press conference today.
Okay, Heidi, anything else we need to tell our listeners about what's going on?
That's about it, Maria.
All right, Heidi, appreciate your help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Heidi Hummel is a reporter with KTAR, and she has been reporting live from Tucson for us since this abduction occurred. Immigrations and customs enforcement operations in Minneapolis will begin winding down. That's according to Border Czar Tom Homan. More on the process to remove agents off the street coming up next. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It is brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
For drivers making the way northbound I-15, the ramp to go westbound I-80 toward the airport remains closed due to an earlier vehicle fire. Also still working on this crash southbound I-15 just above the north interchange. Delays still backing into Woods Cross. Are you tired of dealing with missing teeth? Are you ready to ditch the dentures? The experts at Stubbs Dental can change your life with dental implants. Get started at stubbsdental.com today. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
How do they get so excited about 50 yards?
Think of what you could sew with that.
But you need a really great sewing machine, a Bernina.
Get Bernina sewing, serging, and embroidery machines and accessories at fantastic prices. The Bernina Super Weekend Sale.
Don't miss the Dave's Bernina Super Weekend Sale at their Provo and St. George locations. Now until February 14th.
Save hundreds to thousands of dollars on all new Bernina machines.
0% interest for 48 months on certain machines.
Even the most advanced sewing machine in the world, the Bernina 990, is on sale.
Incredible savings on top of the line special event demo machines that come with full 5-year warranties. Take advantage of 20% off Bernina and Burnett presser feet.
Dave's Bernina just received a limited amount of school buybacks in excellent condition with 2-year warranties. With a doorbuster price of $4.99. Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At Capital Wealth Advisors, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the Capital Wealth Advisors team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 801-210-5500. That's 801-210-5500. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year, but soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line.
Yeah.
When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SOTA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A federal judge has blocked the Pentagon's attempt to punish Senator Mark Kelly for the video the military veteran made with other Democrats, in which they told U.S. troops they can deny to follow illegal orders. ABC's Jay O'Brien is on Capitol Hill with more.
This judge is a George W. Bush appointee. He says, quote, this court has all it needs to conclude that defendants, them being the Department of Defense, have trampled on Senator Kelly's First Amendment freedoms and threatened the constitutional liberties of millions of military retirees. After all, as Bob Dylan famously said, quote, you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. To say the least, our retired veterans deserve more respect from their government, and our Constitution demands they receive it.
White House border czar Tom Homan says the surge operation in Minneapolis is winding down. In a news conference today, Homan said that he has coordinated with state and local officials on how remaining ICE agents can investigate and apprehend people they say are criminals.
I'm very pleased to report that this surge operation and our work here with state and local officials to improve coordination and achieve mutual goals, as well as our efforts to address issues of concern here on the ground, have yielded the successful results we have came here for. The Twin Cities and Minnesota in general are and will continue to be much safer for the communities here because of what we have accomplished under President Trump's leadership. I previously shared with you before I got here. Before I even got here, I met with, I said I was going to meet with the governor, the AG, and the Mayor Fry, Mayor Herr, and I've done all of that. I've also met with various police chiefs and sheriffs. And one thing we all had in common was the importance of ensuring and maintaining public safety. Overall, we made a lot of progress through extensive engagement, meeting with them and other key stakeholders. And it is expected that those engagements and discussions will continue going forward in order to enhance exchange of information and more coordination. As a result of this surge operation, we have greatly reduced the number of targets for enforcement action. And many criminal aliens have been arrested and taken off the streets, including murderers, sex offenders, national security threats, gang members, and other violent criminals. Just this week, ICE arrested a criminal alien with criminal convictions for rape, acts with a child under 14 years of age with force, lewd and lascivious acts with a child under 14. ICE also arrested 2 criminal aliens with criminal sexual misconduct convictions, among other violent criminals. Through targeted enforcement operations based on reasonable suspicion and prioritizing safety and security, ICE will continue to identify, arrest, and remove illegal aliens that pose a risk to public safety, like we've done for years. And our officers will carry out their duties with professionalism, integrity, and compassion, like we've done for years. We will enforce the immigration law against all persons in the United States illegally. I want to say something about the various unfounded complaints I'm hearing about ICE enforcement operations. During the surge operation, ICE has not arrested anybody inside a hospital. We have not arrested anybody inside of a school, an elementary school. We have not arrested anybody inside a church. As a matter of fact, the only ones that disrespected the sanctuary of a church were the agitators that have been arrested and prosecuted, and so far we have 9 of them. However, those locations are not off the table. I said from day one, there's no sanctuary for a significant public safety threat or national security threat. But as far as those stories about ICE going into churches and arresting people in hospitals, it simply has not happened. And if you have a case where it happened, you let me know. Because all the digging I've done here, I can't find a single one.
The announcement comes after criticism of ICE agents' tactics. ICE operations in and around Minneapolis have resulted in U.S. citizens and children being detained, controversial crowd control tactics like the widespread use of pepper spray, and the deaths of 2 people, Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Do you remember those Life Alert commercials where they say, "Help, I've fallen, I can't get up"? What might be a simple fall for many people can be deadly for senior citizens. ABC's Melissa Dawn has tips on how to prevent falls.
One of the most common reasons older adults end up in an emergency room is because they have a fall. And in many cases, a fall can lead to broken bones that require surgery or intense rehabilitation, especially if the patient has a disease called osteoporosis that causes bones to become thin and fragile. According to the experts at the American Medical Association, osteoporosis weakens bones and increases risks of fractures, particularly in seniors. Worldwide, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 5 men older than 50 will have a bone fracture due to osteoporosis during their lifetime. Smokers and people with chronic kidney or liver disease are at especially high risk. Help preserve your bone density by eating foods that contain plenty of calcium and vitamin D. Make strength training a regular part of your routine. And visit your doctor for regular checkups and screening to help track your bone health and catch problems early. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Dawn.
It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Rental junk fees adding hundreds of dollars to the average monthly rent. KSL Investigates will join me for an in-depth look. And KSL traffic, Michelle?
The ramp to go from northbound I-15 in Salt Lake to westbound I-80 is finally open. Maria?
KSL's top local stories in 1 minute.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. The Trump administration is rolling back an Obama-era environmental rule called the endangerment finding, which dictates emission standards for cars and industrial plants. The president speaking at the White House this afternoon.
This action will eliminate over $1.3 trillion of regulatory costs and help bring car prices tumbling down dramatically.
Several environmental scientists say the move could speed up the negative effects of climate change. Several health groups say they're planning to sue. Senator Mark Kelly is responding to a federal judge's decision to block the Pentagon's attempt to punish him for a video. That video shows him and other Democrats saying U.S. troops can choose not to follow illegal orders.
This isn't about me. This is about an administration that is out of control on so many different levels.
The Pentagon had been seeking to diminish Kelly's rank from captain to something lower. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. A Utah lawmaker wants to make it so pharmacists can prescribe vaccines without a doctor's signature. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
It turns out Utah pharmacists have been able to prescribe vaccines on their own since the federal government signed off on letting them do that during COVID, but State Senator Evan Vickers wants to codify that authority for pharmacists going forward. A local pharmacist tells me he likes the idea because now you won't just see the name of a random doctor on your vaccine prescriptions, which makes the process more clear, and Vickers' bill would also allow local pharmacists to prescribe EpiPens for the first time.
Vickers' bill would also allow cold medicines with pseudoephedrine to be sold online. The proposal got its first vote of approval on Capitol Hill today. Other local stories KSL is following. A bill that seeks to clear up a question about carrying guns in schools has been put on hold. Representative Andrew Stoddard's bill would clarify that someone with a concealed firearms permit still can't carry the gun out in the open. He found out yesterday committee members had some concerns.
There's concerns about schools
when it's not in session, whether it's activities after school that aren't related to anything school or summertime. And so I think they just want to minimize the amount of time that this bill would apply.
Clark Aposhian with Utah Shooting Sports Council says he's opposed to the bill in part because another law already deals with carrying guns in schools. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 340 points, sitting at 49,780. S&P down by 68, and the NASDAQ gets down by 366 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU, up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Looking much better for drivers making their way into downtown from those earlier delays due to a vehicle fire. For drivers making their way southbound headed toward downtown, though, that still remains a tight drive. We're still working on a crash that is just prior to the I-215 North interchange, still backing up into Woods Cross as those two right lanes remain closed. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, showers have moved into downtown Salt Lake City, dropping the temperature significantly within the past few minutes. Still a 60% chance of showers today, reduced to 10% tomorrow. Then the weekend looks clear, and the high by Monday, 58 degrees. 46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the number one concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. So when you're looking for a place to live, knowing how much it'll actually cost every month is key. But a slew of hidden fees can add up quickly, making it difficult to know what the total monthly cost will be. The bottom line, housing can be even more expensive than you think. KSL investigator Courtney Johns looks at growing trends of hidden junk fees and what state leaders are doing to address this during the ongoing legislative session.
There's people on the streets, and it's winter, and it's going to be cold.
After a year of living in her car, Rachel Ortiz says she is doing everything she can to avoid going back, including sticking to a tight budget.
I'm able to pay them, thankfully.
But her budget blew up when she found out her Salt Lake apartment wasn't as affordable as she thought. Her advertised rent, $869. But she pays nearly $100 more, not including utilities. The reason? Fees.
It's hard to afford a place nowadays with the rent and the inflation's going up.
She's paying $10 for pest control, another $14 for liability waiver in place of renter's insurance, $25 for parking, covered or uncovered, and a $16 real estate tax for her share in the complex's property taxes.
They want to charge you separate for every little thing.
She also pays for upkeep in common areas. That varies. Last month, it was $32.
I go to pay this amount, and then you tell me it's this amount, and I have this amount for the rent.
Rachel isn't alone. A National Consumer Law Center study finds Americans spend hundreds of millions of dollars in rental fees every year, tracking 27 different fees.
There's a fee for having guests over, charging to have your rent payment processed, trash pickup, even if you want to take it out yourself. There's even a fee to have your mail sorted. It's surprise fees like this that have Representative Tyler Clancy sponsoring House Bill 29.
Making sure that they have an expectation that the marketplace is being honest and transparent.
HB 29 bans fluctuating fees and says landlords must advertise the total price renters have to pay every month.
You get to set your own prices. You just have to be truthful what's included in that price and what's optional at the end of the transaction.
Katie Haas leads Utah's Division of Consumer Protection, which will enforce the new law if passed. At least 11 other states have similar laws. And in December, the government reached a $24 million settlement with rental housing giant Greystar over allegations it deceived renters with hidden fees.
These little fees at the end they create a bitterness to our economy that we don't want here in Utah.
A bitterness Rachel knows.
It's become like really greedy. They stop thinking with they start thinking with this and stop thinking with this.
She just recently learned her home was bought by Greystar.
It's just too much.
And now hopes her new landlord will be more transparent.
Even without this law, you do have rights. Landlords are required to share all fees before you apply. So ask early and don't be afraid to negotiate. For more information, check out our website.
All right, joining me now live in studio, Courtney Johns and KSL investigative producer Sloan Schrag. Thanks to both of you for coming in. This is an important topic. We know how expensive housing is right now. But I have to tell you both, I had never heard of some of these fees, let alone that they were hidden. So first of all, how did you come across the story?
You know, I had been working with Department of Consumer Protection, and we were talking about some different advocacy stories that we could do. And we said, you know, what's going on Capitol Hill? What are you guys working on? And they said junk fees and some of the issues that they had come across. And so we wanted to be clear that this isn't getting rid of the fees. It's about being transparent so that everyone levels the playing field and it's fair for people so they know exactly what they're shopping for when they're looking for a place.
So, Sloan, in doing your research, what kinds of different fees did you find that were hidden?
Well, the trash valet one was one, you know, that just kind of startled me. Yeah, you have to. It's a mandatory fee in a lot of places, even though you want to take your trash out to the dumpster on your own. They'll charge you for it, $25 a month sometimes. So the other ones, Courtney mentioned in her story, was the payment processing fee. You got to pay them to process your rent payment. There's in some places they have a guest fee. You know, so if you have a person extended, you know, staying for longer than a couple days, you may have to pay a fee for that. Some will actually charge you to use the amenities at their complex. You know, they're not always included, you know, with the lease. So there's a lot of different fees, more than the mind can handle.
So it sounds like when people are looking for a place to rent, they go online and they see the various options and the various costs, but the prices that the landlords are actually saying they're charging aren't real. Is that what we're trying to get to here?
Yes, and I think the point is, so under Utah law right now, they have to tell you by the time that you apply for your rent. By the time that you apply to move in. And the issue with that is we don't have the luxury of time. We have a lot of transplants here. So when I flew out here, I had a weekend to look for places. And none of the places that I looked at were the price that they were advertised as. And for a lot of people, they're taking time off from work to look for these places. And if you take time off, you drive across town, you do all of that, and then you find out, this is way out of my budget. This is $400 more. This is wasting people's time, and we don't have the luxury of time when we are looking for places to live.
So talk about the legislation right now. What is happening on Capitol Hill to take care of this problem?
There's a bill called House Bill 29, and basically what it says is that landlords, property managers need to include the total price that someone will have to pay to live in their apartment on the listing or the advertisement. It needs to have the total price. And that's going through the Senate right now as we speak.
So when you guys were going through, did you actually go through and look at some of the advertisements and try to determine which ones were actually real and which ones did have these hidden fees?
Well, a lot of them will have the base rental price, and they'll say fees, doesn't include fees, that sort of things that we saw a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but that's where you get tripped up, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be in a situation like the person that you talk to, they get into a place and then they don't have that extra $100 or whatever it is.
Exactly.
It could be $100, could be a couple $100. I mean, it adds up. Sometimes we saw there were cases where people were paying $300 a month in fees on top of the rent.
That they didn't know about.
They
didn't know originally.
Not when they were looking at the listing.
Well, and one of the things that I was not aware of is some of these places have fees as well that can change each month. So it's a maintenance fee that they say can fluctuate month to month as well, which I had never come across. And under this bill, that is not allowed for an apartment complex or a landlord. That's only for utility companies. So you cannot have a fluctuating fee as a landlord. It has to be a fixed fee because people need to be able to budget accordingly.
Are these fees mainly found in big complexes, or are you finding them with individual landlords as well?
You know, Department of Consumer Protection did not collect this in a way that we could find data on it. It was more from what they were getting overall from talking to people who had called them and complained about it. There is national data on this, and so we had data on a range of complaints, around 27 different types of fees, and then the overall financial impact. But in Utah specifically, they do not aggregate the data.
Okay. How can people find out more if they want to hear more about the story?
We can go to our website, ksltv.com. The story is there. We've got information about what you can do when you're looking for a place to rent at this time, since HB 29 is not in effect. Or there's also a fee that will reimburse you for your application fees if you find that there is a fee that you didn't know about that the landlord springs on you. And you can get reimbursed for that.
At ksltv.com. Right?
Yep.
That's correct.
Thanks to both of you. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having us on.
And Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Amanda, one of my favorite things to do when I go to the theater is laugh. Any show, it doesn't matter. So one that's designed to make me laugh from start to finish, boy, that is in my wheelhouse. And that's what we've got with Peter Pan Goes Wrong.
When we went into the theater, I'm not sure what we were expecting, but we started laughing early on. And then I realized, I'm laughing that big, loud, obnoxious laugh of mine. But mine wasn't the loudest laugh in the theater. We were all laughing, and that made it more fun.
But you walk in, it actually takes a second to realize, wait, this is actually funny from the moment the curtain rises, and it makes you laugh all the way to the end.
We need that, Andy. Don't we need that?
Oh, it's so helpful, and it's so fun to do in a group of people. It just makes everything more enjoyable.
This is in the Jewel Box stage, and then in the brand new theater,
we've got more laughs with Hallmarked, a spoof on that brand new stage, a new theater at Hale Center Theater to enjoy.
And you can still get season tickets and enjoy all of the wonderful shows, including Anastasia, to finish out the year at Hale Center Theater.
So you can get tickets by calling the box office at 801-984-9000 or online at hct.org.
A West Jordan man is winning fights in the cage after surviving a suicide bombing attack while serving with the Marines in Iraq. Brandon Mendez joined the Marines back in 2005 and was deployed to Iraq 2 years later. And he tells KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera that when his unit was hit by a suicide bomber and blew their truck, it did blow their truck sky high.
Basically, a guy, an insurgent in a giant dump truck, went under, because we were on top of the overpass that looked over this freeway. So he went underneath the overpass and blew himself up. And the truck was loaded with like 3,000 pounds of explosives. It, tossed me up in the air. And then, like, at that moment when it happened, I was reaching for something. And that's what I think, whatever, like, from the explosion, all the wires and the debris ended up almost completely severing off my left hand.
The blast also shattered both of his feet, and he says it took him years to get his back in order.
The thing about when a lot of military members get out of the military, it's especially guys who are, like, had severe injuries or have a lot of, like, post-traumatic stress disorder. It was difficult getting out and trying to transition and try to figure out my purpose in life, And so after that year of doing jiu-jitsu, I kind of started spiraling down, So I didn't do jiu-jitsu for about 7 years. I got back into jiu-jitsu in 2017. And then from there, I don't know, I would see guys, young kids doing MMA and just, enjoying the sport. And something in me just decided I'm going to start doing some Muay Thai. So I started there at Absolute.
Now he's fighting locally with Fierce Fighting Championships and just won his first match 2 fights in.
I was obviously super happy, right? But I was pretty emotional because I had been working for so many years for that moment. And I never grew up playing a lot of sports or anything like that, so I never really won anything, like no trophies or anything like that. So it was emotional to enjoy the fruits of all the hard work I've been putting into the gym.
Now he says his inspiration to compete is his son and his wife and others who face obstacles in life. Valentine's Day spending is on the rise, and retailers are expecting to see record-breaking sales this year. More on that, plus the AI love scams you need to watch out for this holiday weekend, coming up next. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Still working on this crash in North Salt Lake, southbound I-15 blocking the right lanes as you're approaching the I-15, I-215 interchange. We also have more slowdowns affecting both directions of I-15 at the south interchange, and a fresh crash on State Street, 4500 South, blocking the right lane for drivers making their way southbound. Get BOGO tickets now for the ultimate romantic date night. Choose Chicago Nights or Romeo and Juliet, April 6th through the 11th. Visit OdysseyDance.com for tickets and discounts and details. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
A warning on cryptocurrency kiosk scams from AARP Utah. Scammers are getting smarter, and Utahns are paying the price. Criminals are using cryptocurrency ATMs to commit fraud, stealing people's retirement savings and costing Utahns millions of dollars a year. Many scams start with an unexpected call, text, or email from someone claiming to be a trusted source, like your bank, a business you use, or even law enforcement. They'll tell you there's an urgent problem and instruct you to take cash to a crypto kiosk or ATM. They may even stay on the phone pressuring you to act fast and keep it secret. But once you feed cash into a crypto ATM, it's converted to cryptocurrency and sent to the scammer's wallet, and it can be almost impossible to recover. Remember, no legitimate organization will ever ask you to pay with cryptocurrency. Learn more at the rising cost of cryptocurrency scams by visiting aarp.org/UT. A message paid for by AARP Utah.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
If you've ever experienced running out of hot water before your shower was done, or hard water spots on dishes and fixtures, I've got a deal you might be interested in. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and you probably already know that a tankless water heater and a water softener solve both issues. If you've ever thought about looking into getting a tankless water heater, here's the deal I was talking about. Through the end of February, we're including a free water softener with every new tankless water heater we install. The best part of this deal might be that you never have to worry about being the last one to the shower again, or that you don't have to waste the money keeping 40 to 50 gallons of water hot 24/7. To take advantage of this deal, call Any Hour Services before the end of February. The visit's free and there's no obligation to buy. If you decide to have us install a new tankless water heater, we'll throw in the water softener for free. That's right, a free water softener when you purchase a tankless water heater. Pick up the phone and call Any Hour Services right now for all the details. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox.
When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. Keep in mind, it's not just you.
I owed roughly $34,000.
$61,000. When the IRS first contacted me, I was horrified.
When they start hounding you and harassing you and assaulting you.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
From what I got told was being done in a matter of 2 years, he had done in a matter of like 48 hours.
It's a great thing to have the IRS off your back.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
Once I signed on with Jordan, I never talked to the IRS again.
It changed our lives.
You need someone to fight for you. Visit endtaxworry.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit endtaxworry.com. That's endtaxworry.com.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. With Valentine's Day just a few days away, it's on Saturday in case you missed it, retailers across the country say they are feeling the most love ever. National Retail Federation expects consumers to spend more than $29 billion on the holiday of love, set to surpass the previous record level of $27.5 billion set in 2025. Individual spending on gifts expected to reach an all-time high of nearly $200. The Retail Federation says the new record would be set thanks largely to increased spending by upper-income Valentine's Day celebrants. For the next few minutes, we're going to share a few Valentine's Day related stories, but I also want to hear from you. How much are you planning to spend on Valentine's Day this year, and what are you planning to buy? Don't worry, we'll keep your information anonymous. We won't spoil the surprise. That number to text, 57500. If you are trying to find love this Valentine's Day or shower your own significant other with gifts, you have to be aware of scammers using AI to steal thousands of dollars from unknowing victims. The FBI warns scammers have been using AI to steal hundreds of thousands, again, from their unknowing victims.
Right around this time of year, right around the holidays, when people feel lonely and they're looking for, maybe someone to connect with.
That is FBI agent Augustine Lopez. In 2025, he says that the FBI in 15 counties in Northern California recorded total losses to victims of romance scams at nearly $50 million, with Santa Clara County having the largest sum stolen at $12 million.
Yeah, and in these romance scams especially, because the person on our end of the phone is fallen in love with somebody they think is real. So even though they haven't met them in person, they feel like they know them. They feel like they've met them.
He says AI is making matters worse these days because mass emails can reach more people faster and net victims quicker.
They can buy all the data they need on the dark web. They can get all the email addresses to start with, and even some banking information to make you believe that they're from a bank, or that they know you, or that they're a friend of your son or your grandson. So they can really give you some data points that make you really trust and believe that you're talking to a real person.
Most victims, he says, are 60 and above, and loneliness can play a major role.
And even when we tell them it's a fraud, many times they're like, they don't care. They'll keep giving money and keep that relationship up because they've fallen in love.
For now, the Bureau is working to get the word out to empower people to not share personal information.
Talk to your family, talk to any investment institution that you're working with. Do not give money to people who you've never met.
Would you have people physically come here and talk to you guys about?
Yeah, absolutely. Our lobby is open for the public to come make any reports they think are important.
Bottom line, you want to stop it in its tracks.
Always, always, always. Prevent it before it even happens. That way there are no victims.
That is News Nation's Teresa Estacio reporting from San Francisco. How about something a little nicer to celebrate the holiday? A man with a song in his heart sharing love through his fingers. KSL5 TV's Peter Rosen has the story of a man whose own story really began on Valentine's Day.
When you think of jazz venues, this isn't the first place that comes to mind. But for Ed Leaders,
it's where I feel at home.
It feels right.
It's with my songs.
In the hospital lobby, Ed keeps time, but not really count, Of all the songs,
About 500 songs.
on his playlist,
Well, somebody counted them, I didn't.
and the number of Valentine's days since his birth,
I'm 102. I quit counting a while back. I'll be 103 if I last to.
103 on Valentine's Day.
It's the best birthday I can imagine.
A holiday steeped in music and romance. Love is a pretty good thing.
It's the whole thing.
But as Valentine's days have come
As time goes by.
and gone,
Is that the title of a song?
he's lost a wife, a daughter, and his eyesight. Due to macular degeneration,
I think of myself as a macular degenerate.
he sees life only at the edges. Once an English professor, he now focuses on music.
I can't imagine a better thing to do in my retirement.
Not performing, he says,
It's just part of the atmosphere.
but simply lightening the mood for patients and their families.
I feel when I'm playing the piano, I'm part of all of the lives that pass by.
It's not the center of his life, but it's the base. At the base of you can't have a statue if it's not resting on something. I think his soul is in music.
Ed Leaders now tells us he has a new lady friend.
She's on the 14th floor, I'm on the 4th floor, so it's an elevator relationship.
Even after more than a century of Valentine's days,
I'm falling more in love with you.
he hasn't given up on romance and all that jazz. Peter Rosen, KSL 5 News.
And what a lovely story. What a sweet story. And what a great way to spend his time. I always wonder about the people who are playing in the lobby of the hospital. Now, at the beginning of the segment, I asked you to text me at 57500. Tell me how much you're planning to spend on Valentine's Day this year. And I also asked you to fill me on your secrets. I mean, what are you planning to buy for your significant others? So here's what you had to say. The first texter said, $20 a person, maybe an additional $50 on dinner, definitely under $100. Next person says they only get their 5 kids a small box of chocolates and call it a day. They celebrate February 14th as the day they brought their now 17-year-old home from the NICU, a miracle rainbow baby who is now thriving. Next person said that they are buying their wife an iPad for $800 this year, big spender. And the next one said not spending any money on Valentine's Day, but their brother just bought a house, so for his birthday, they spent $20 on a used 3-burner grill. Thank you so much for your texts.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A proposal on Utah's Capitol Hill to create a nuclear waste reprocessing facility in the state. It's moving ahead today. Many attending a committee meeting worried about the risks.
A lot of these nuclear bills, they're moving very fast. And I think that is what's most worrisome. Because if we are going to do this, I think that it's important that we do it carefully, that we do it transparently, and that we consider all of the risks.
Leaders with the Utah Office of Energy Development say they won't move ahead if it's not safe.
If it isn't safe and it isn't a benefit to Utah, we're not interested in it, 100%.
The time is 2 o'clock on Thursday, February 12th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, Eye on the Hill, we'll get a closer look at the proposal in just a few minutes. Also this hour, Utah's Lieutenant Governor reacting to the SAVE Act that is currently making its way through Congress.
We are concerned, not because we oppose voter ID. Our states already have voter ID. Most states do. We already do citizenship checks for our voters.
Coming up, we'll hear what her concerns are and how she hopes lawmakers will address them. But first, our top stories. A bill aimed at exploring nuclear fuel recycling facility here in Utah is headed for a vote in the House of Representatives. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff has details from the state capitol.
This bill would set up the development of a campus to reuse spent nuclear fuel. Emmy Lisofsky is the director of the Utah Office of Energy Development.
When fuel comes out of a reactor, it still has a lot of energy left in it, and there's all kinds of opportunities to reuse that fuel. And as technology has improved, the ability to reprocess it and utilize that further for a benefit is being explored and developed. And so we're just looking at how we could potentially be part of that.
Nathan Hull spoke out today against this bill.
A lot of these nuclear bills, they're moving very very fast.
Hull says it would be better to spend money on researching renewable fuels rather than exploring nuclear energy. Reporting from the Utah State Capitol, Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News. In a news conference today, White House border czar Tom Homan says the surge operation in Minneapolis is ending soon. More from ABC's Luke Barr.
He said that, they're trying to work together with the state and locals. He's had productive meetings with the AG, with the governor. He thanked the mayor for, getting out there and helping with, local law enforcement.
Homan says he's coordinating with the state and local officials like Governor Tim Walz to allow remaining ICE agents to investigate and apprehend people that they say are criminals. Other national news KSL is following. The Environmental Protection Agency is walking back the environmental decision to regulate greenhouse gas emissions and fight climate change. For more than 16 years, the EPA's endangerment findings served as the scientific and legal foundation for federal regulations on carbon dioxide and 5 other heat-trapping greenhouse gases.
President Trump and EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin Thursday announcing the repeal of the foundational environmental rule for the federal regulation of greenhouse gas emissions. Some climate scientists and policy experts say this move could significantly affect U.S. efforts to address human-amplified climate change. The administration is touting this as a deregulation that will save the American people $1.3 trillion. Asked for his message to Americans who are concerned that will come at a cost to public health and the environment, the president said,
I tell them don't worry about it because it has nothing to do with public health. This was all a scam, a giant scam.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Experts say there will be lawsuits filed challenging this move, and the case will likely end up before the Supreme Court. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day down by 669 points. That's more than 1.25%, sitting at 49,451. S&P 500 down by 108. The NASDAQ down by a full 2%, down 469 points. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
They're still working on this crash in North Salt Lake. This is southbound I-15. The 2 right lanes remain blocked as you're approaching the I-15, I-215 North interchange. Now, in the heart of the valley, wet roads are hampering the drive both directions, I-15 between South Salt Lake and Murray, and then a crash northbound on I-215's west belt. This is 700 north at the off-ramp. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Rain showers dropping our temperature by about 5 degrees in the last half hour. 60% chance of rain still through this evening, decreasing to a 10% chance tomorrow. Right now, 46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Are you looking to upgrade your home this year? Advanced Window Products is your local window and door manufacturer that sells direct to the public.
That's right, celebrating 40 years serving Utah since 1986. And right now, it's the New Year, New Window Sale. Get $2,500 off when you buy 10 windows or more.
Our windows are made right here in Salt Lake City. Sales and installation are all in-house, meaning no middleman markups. You get the most affordable, high-quality custom windows in the state.
We build it, we install it, and we guarantee it for life.
Every window comes with a lifetime warranty, labor, glass, and parts included, serviced by our local team, and the warranty is transferable to the next homeowner.
Financing is available too. Save now, pay later, with payments as low as $150 a month.
Buy local and support the local economy. Don't wait. Buy 10 windows or more and get $2,500 off. Beat the rush and call today.
Call us at 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit us at advancedwindows.com.
Every day here in Utah, people turn to KSL News Radio for one simple reason: trust. Trust for our reporters, hosts, our coverage, and trust in the businesses heard right here. I've met so many of our listeners over the years, and they'll tell you KSL is part of their daily routine, in the car, at work, at home. And when they hear your business here, it carries the weight of that trust. It isn't just another ad. It's a recommendation coming from a reliable source. When you advertise on KSL News Radio, you reach a loyal, highly engaged audience who listens intentionally. They show up for breaking news, accurate information, and meaningful conversations. And because of that connection, they respond. And when you pair our on-air credibility with digital tools like display advertising, social media, streaming audio, search, geo-targeting, and retargeting, you get a full funnel strategy that works and reaches the right people at the right time. Get marketing that truly moves the needle. Partner with the voice Utah trusts. KSL. Learn more at kslnewsradio.com/advertise.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos.
Eye on the Hill 2026. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
The Utah legislature is one step closer to creating a nuclear waste reprocessing plant in the state. On Capitol Hill today, lawmakers discussed the proposal in a committee hearing. Utah Office of Energy Development Director Emmy Liskovsky says that there's still a lot of energy left when the nuclear fuel becomes out of a reactor, and it's this energy that she thinks can be recycled and repurposed into something better.
When fuel comes out of a reactor, it still has a lot of energy left in it, and there's all kinds of opportunities to reuse that fuel. And as technology has improved, the ability to reprocess it and utilize that further for a benefit is being explored and developed. And so we're just looking at how we could potentially be part of that.
One concern some people have raised is how the energy would be stored. Often, nuclear waste and spent fuel is stored in salt caverns. Lisovsky tells KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff that they may do a similar thing here, but it's not decided yet. She says that everything included in this exploration would benefit the state.
There's nothing that we would be interested in doing that would be a net negative to the state. Period. As we explore these things and making sure that we're doing it in a safe and thoughtful manner, the opportunities that come with it are things that we're interested in, and we have to look at the entire picture before making any decisions. This is really just an effort to set up a way that we can make those decisions and work through those issues. And I'll also say that salt caverns aren't the only types of geologic formations that can be utilized. So it's not there's no foregone conclusions here at all.
Lisovsky says the cost associated with this process is expensive, but she says that's how it is across the energy sector as a whole.
Anytime you're playing in the energy space, the amount of money it takes to make investments into providing power and anything that goes into it, that's really expensive. And so when you start looking at what the opportunities are, not just for power production, but for jobs and for building our economy, it can be really, really significant. But this is all really early stage, and we're working through what the opportunities will look like. But that's something that's a stay tuned as we continue to work through it.
She says the most important part of this entire plan is the safety and health of Utahns. Opponents like Nathan Hull also attended the committee meeting today, speaking out against the proposal. Hull spoke with KSL and explained why he thinks this plan would cause more harm than good.
I've been a big scientist, I guess, for most of my life. All of my education was in science and environmental issues, and geography specifically was my degree, and I'm currently working on a master's degree in environmental science. I work as an environmental coordinator, so pretty much all of my life I've kind of grew up in the outdoors in Utah, caring about the environment, doing what I can, but also kind of recognizing the realities of climate change and the environmental issues that we do face. And so I think it's just important to come out today, especially to talk against this bill, because I think a lot of the things are moving really quickly. We see with the administration in the White House right now and in Utah that a lot of these nuclear bills, they're moving very fast. And I think that is what's most worrisome, because if we are going to do this, I think that it's important that we do it carefully, that we do it transparently, and that we consider all of the risks and the realities that we are seeing throughout the world, that a lot of places are moving away from nuclear. And so I think that a lot of that would be better spent a lot of that money would be better spent in renewables, and learning programs, training programs for our rural communities to develop their renewable resources and to transition them into renewable areas that can support these rural communities without the risk of nuclear that brings to these communities as well.
Lisovsky tells KSL that if it ends up not being safe, they won't move forward with it.
If it isn't safe and it isn't a benefit to Utah, we're not interested in it. 100%. And energy security is national security. We've long played a role in national security with Hill Air Force Base and many of the other energy products that we provide. This would be just something that we're exploring that can help reaffirm our place there. But if it's not safe and good for Utah, we're not going to do it.
The bill received a favorable recommendation from the committee, so it will now move forward. Another proposal on Utah's Capitol Hill would make changes to the way students eat their lunches at school. State Representative Tiara Auxier joined Inside Sources this morning to talk about this issue of time and how it's causing some students to go without food during their lunch break.
The Utah School Board passed a model policy 3 years ago that said that the best thing for students to be able to do is to have 20 minutes to sit and eat their lunch. We decided last year to use taxpayer money to pay for the family portion of reduced lunches. And so one of the reasons why we did that is because many people came and said this is the most nutritious meal of the day for so many kids. But on the flip side, when the kids don't eat lunch because they don't have enough time, all of that food and taxpayer money is ending up in the garbage. So if we believe that this is such a substantial meal of the day, I want to make sure that they have time to actually eat it. So I want also local control is a big thing that I advocate for. And every school is different on how they could do this. But I want every community council to sit down and look at the model policy, look at their own lunch policy and say, okay, what is not matching up here and how can we get closer to this to make sure that our kids can get the time that they really need.
That is Representative Tiara Auxier speaking to Inside Sources. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Utah's chief elections officer responded to concerns over voter privacy. Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson tells Inside Sources that her office takes privacy and security seriously, but she's worried about outside influences changing those privacy laws.
So there are really good, valid reasons why people would want to be able to exercise their right to vote and have some privacy protection. Now, there are certain pieces of our voter registration that's always private. Your driver's license number, your social security number, your date of birth, that's always private. We don't give that out to anybody unless we absolutely have to under certain circumstances. And even that data right now is at risk. There are efforts to really undo all of the privacy protections that we have, give private data to third parties, give private data to federal agencies. And I think every voter ought to be concerned.
So what parts of voter information can actually be private?
In Utah, we're a little bit different than most states. Voter registration rolls are, by federal law, supposed to be available to the public, right? And they are. But Utah has had laws on the books for quite a while now that allows individual voters to opt into some privacy protections. And quite a few voters do opt into those privacy protections. And so when they do, I and other election officials are prohibited by law from giving out their information except in certain circumstances. And so, we hear a lot about people saying, oh, the state's hiding their voter rolls or hiding. And that's not the case. The state we're following the law, and the law allows individuals to opt into these privacy protections. And sometimes there's really good reasons for people to do that. Maybe they're a domestic violence victim, right? And they want to be able to exercise their right to vote, but they don't want their address and all their information to be publicly available to everybody. Maybe they're a public official of some sort or a public figure, and they don't want their address out there being publicized and being targeted. And we've seen a lot of that happening in recent years.
What about bills on Capitol Hill right now that could affect the elections processes? One proposal would add an identification requirement for mail-in or remote ballots. Lieutenant Governor says she used to see all kinds of bills affecting elections, but doesn't think that this proposal would have the intended effect.
We have been working every single year since I have been Lieutenant Governor. There have been dozens and dozens of election bills to, and many of them we have supported. We've worked very hard with the legislature. Many of them codified the practices that we were already doing, the changes that we had been making to bolster and strengthen our system, which is good to codify those things because you never know what the next lieutenant governor, would do. This proposal, I mean, it's a policy discussion worth having, but this proposal may not change things very much for certain voters. Many voters use drop boxes. But it would definitely be a significant change for the county clerks to have to staff that. I mean, it would be very expensive, very different than what we do now. And I think that it wouldn't provide any additional security to what we already do.
The movements at the state level come as Congress works to tighten elections on the national level. Lieutenant Governor says she's concerned about the just-approved SAVE Act, which would restrict mail-in ballots, require photo ID at polling places, and mandate that states get proof of citizenship before registering someone to vote in a federal election.
We are concerned. Not because we oppose voter ID. Our states already have voter ID. Most states do. We already do citizenship checks for our voters. That's not the problem. The problem is really technical in nature, largely. And you're right. This is effective immediately upon the signature of the president. And in the middle of an election year, it's going to be problematic. And I'll just lay out a couple of problems. The ID, the real ID that is required to register to vote under this bill is not the same kind of real ID that the state of Utah uses. So I don't know if everybody remembers years ago when we moved to real ID, every time you had to go re-up your driver's license, remember we had to dig up our marriage licenses and all of that and go take it to the driver's license division to get our new real ID, which then now that our DLD can confirm whether or not a person is a citizen, right, because of all of that work we did. Well, our driver's licenses don't say citizen or non-citizen on the actual card. Some states do. 5 states do. And they're Washington, New York, Minnesota, Michigan, and Vermont. Those are the only 5 states in the United States that actually use a driver's license that say citizen or non-citizen on the card. And those are the only ones that can be used to register to vote. So now in Utah, people will have to do it all over again with their driver's license and go find their birth certificates and their marriage licenses and all of the things that they've already done. And so that's really problematic. And to have it be in the middle of an election year is challenging.
The bill, which is backed by President Trump, now heads to the Senate. Lots of yelling back and forth during Attorney General Pam Bondi's testimony before a congressional hearing. We'll get a recap after the break. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU, up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Fresh crash in Summit County. This is westbound I-80 at Kimball Junction. The crash is off to the left and the right, but the 2 left lanes are blocked. All traffic is having to squeeze through. Wet roads are adding to the delays. Don't miss the Sportsman's Vacation and RV Show coming to the Mountain America Expo February 12th through the 15th. Hundreds of RVs all in one location. Buy tickets online at UtahRVShow.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Washington County Fair Legacy Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Starting price is too low to advertise. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. Deep discounts. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Who doesn't love winning? Right now at KSL.com/win, you'll find exciting contests with prizes you actually want. Tickets, gift cards, and more. It's fast, it's free, and you can enter in just a few clicks. New contests are added all the time, so there's always another chance to win big. Don't miss out. Visit KSL.com/win today and enter to win. That's KSL.com/win.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through March 22nd, switch to Comcast Business and get started with 150 megabit internet plus Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Or ask how to lock in your rate for 5 years on a qualifying internet bundle and get a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. For a limited time only. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
With affordable tuition, personal support, and career services, Salt Lake Community College is empowering students to shape Utah's future.
I'm an occupational therapy practitioner.
I'm an electrical engineer.
And I'm in comms, PR, and marketing.
And I'm a Salt Lake Community College alum.
A better Utah starts with a better education. SLCC provides opportunities to students who become alumni that shape Utah's future. See how we're investing in Utah's future at slcc.edu/community.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community learn computer skills and build a basic resume. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Fireworks on Capitol Hill as Attorney General Pam Bondi appeared to defend the Justice Department's release of the Epstein files. On this episode of Start Here, ABC's Jay O'Brien recaps her testimony and how the committee hearing devolved into a shouting match.
Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal asks the Epstein survivors in the room to stand up and raise their hands if they have not had a meeting with Pam Bondi's Department of Justice. They all stand up, they all raise their hands, and Pramila Jayapal says to Pam Bondi, do you want to apologize to these Epstein survivors? And there, it really devolves into a shouting match.
No, I'm answering a question.
Mr. Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is interrupted.
I'm not going to get in the gutter with this woman. She's doing theatrics. Let me have my
Gentlelady.
And that really set the tone for this hearing. Time and time again, on a number of issues, but particularly on the Epstein issues, Pam Bondi deflected.
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before.
I agree with you.
You twice.
I've been claiming my time. I agree with you.
And even one Democrat, Ted Lieu, said, in his view, Attorney General Merrick Garland and other attorney generals before him, Republican and Democrat, dropped the ball.
Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them.
There was this consistent effort of deflection. There was partisan brawling back and forth. It appeared the Attorney General even came prepared with opposition research on the members on the committee and was trying to, again, deflect time and time again when, in particular, Democrats brought up these pointed questions about Jeffrey Epstein. And there was one exchange that really illuminated that. It was with Republican Congressman Thomas Massie. He's one of two lawmakers who crafted this law compelling the release of the DOJ's Epstein files.
This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that...
Now, Senator Thomas Massie took Bondi to task for releasing the names of victims while protecting powerful figures.
A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there.
The law requires you protect the survivors' identities, but it explicitly prohibits you from redacting things that are not tied to survivor identities or ongoing investigations or national security. And the DOJ said it didn't withhold anything for national security. All of that to say, Thomas Massie is saying, you've made some serious mistakes with these redactions. Why are you doing that?
Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
where
of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
And we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome.
And even that devolved into a back and forth, and it ended with Pam Bondi saying that Thomas Massie has Trump derangement syndrome.
Now, O'Brien says he hasn't seen this type of contentious testimony in a committee for quite a while.
It was probably one of the more bruising political hearings I've seen in a while because the Attorney General made a point to come in guns blazing. And by the way, members of Congress went in guns blazing as well.
Before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
At one point, she shouted at Jamie Raskin, the top Democrat on the panel, "You don't tell me anything." And Jamie Raskin shouted back, too, in his parts. And I do tell you this. And they were talking about the order and procedure of the way the hearing is supposed to play out by the rules of the Congress. All of that to say, this was a hearing to conduct oversight over the Department of Justice. And when you ask about what the DOJ is saying, we didn't learn very much about what the DOJ's point of view is because the Attorney General so often attempted to deflect here. And frankly, we didn't zero in on one topic. While Jeffrey Epstein kept coming up, there were a number of topics that Democrats kept bringing up because they have all of this constellation of issues of concern with DOJ. So there wasn't one big through line or theme that came out of this. There was just a lot of chaos.
And that is ABC's Jay O'Brien on the Start Here podcast. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Governor Spencer Cox expected to make an announcement on national security. A bit of controversy in the Winter Games over a Ukrainian athlete's helmet. We'll get a live check-in with KSL 5 TV's Deanie Wimmer. And KSL traffic, Michelle.
A serious crash westbound I-80 at Kimball's Junction. Maria?
Still a good chance of showers across the Wasatch Front into this evening, but decreasing by tomorrow. It's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A federal judge temporarily blocked the Pentagon from demoting and fining Senator Mark Kelly over that video made with fellow Democrats.
In a biting opinion that chastised Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, a Republican-appointed judge on Thursday blocked the Defense Department from trying to punish Senator Mark Kelly over a video he and other Democrats made urging service members not to follow illegal orders, accusing Hegseth of trampling on Kelly's First Amendment rights. Today's decision comes 2 days after a grand jury in Washington declined to indict Kelly and the other lawmakers participated in the video. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Happening now in New York City, a rally near the historic Stonewall Inn, where New York City politicians raised the rainbow flag again after the Interior Department removed the pride flag this week, part of a directive that only the U.S. flag should be flown at the National Monument. The inn is the site of the Stonewall riots decades ago that sparked the gay rights movement. On Wall Street today, sharp declines across the board. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story this hour, and it is breaking news on KSL News Radio. Governor Cox is holding a news conference in which he's expected to make an announcement regarding national security. Let's go live now to the state capitol for that news conference.
Some great things that are happening, some mediocre things too, but mostly great things. All great things. That's what I'll say. We're today. I know, shots fired. I'm just kidding, guys. Just want to make sure you're listening. The reason we called this press conference today, and I want to specifically thank Representative Candace Perucci. We've been working together over a couple years now on some really important bills, and others who are here with us as well. But we here in Utah, we take national security very, very seriously. Utah is not naive to the world around us and what is happening. We recognize that there are certainly threats out there. That we have adversaries who are targeting our country and certainly targeting the state of Utah as well. We are also home to critical military and intelligence infrastructure that matter to our national security, that protects this nation and protects our allies as well. And that means that what happens in Utah matters far beyond the borders of our state and even beyond the borders of our country. We, as you all know, Hill Air Force Base employs over 22,000 Utahns, the largest single-site employer in our state. Aerospace and defense is a rapidly growing sector in our economy, now accounts for roughly 20% of our GDP. We host some of the nation's most sensitive military and intelligence operations, and the top defense primes operate here and employ tens of thousands of people more than just what we see at Hill Air Force Base. So what we really want to emphasize today is that when you protect Utah's security footprint, we're also protecting America's security footprint. So since 2022, the legislature has worked hard to do several important things. We've restricted foreign ownership of land near military installations and critical infrastructure. We have strengthened reporting requirements and oversight. We've empowered the Department of Public Safety and SIAC to investigate and act. And we've worked with other states to share our best practices. And I will point out that, again, many of our legislators have met with their colleagues across the country, and Utah's legislation has been seen as model legislation for several of those other states. It is not symbolic. It actually has teeth, and that's one of the things we're excited to share with you today. So we do have some news to share today. It's not just about the bills that are being run, but because of legislation that was passed over the past couple of years, and the persistent work of DPS and SIAC, a Chinese company that owned property near one of our military installations has divested and recently sold that property. This is a huge win for Utah. It's a big win for the United States. It's a win for our service members, and it's a win for national security. And that is exactly why these types of laws actually matter. Now, I'll have Commissioner Mason come and walk through the process, but today proves that enforcement actually does work. Now, we have some bills, and you'll hear more about that, but we'll have the bill sponsors come and talk about their bill specifics, but these are really the next layer of protection. HB 291 that strengthens land restrictions and closes some loopholes. HB 165 to protect our critical infrastructure. HB 19 securing drinking water systems, and HB 182 that safeguards genetic information. We are not going to. We're not just reacting to yesterday's threats, although we're always doing that. We're preparing for threats that could come in in the future and trying to look around those corners. Now, this is not about, it's not about fear. It's certainly not about targeting people. This is about protecting Utah's land, our water, our infrastructure, and our service members. We welcome lawful investment and partnership, but we will not allow our adversarial governments, other adversarial governments, to gain leverage over these critical assets. In Utah, land and liberty are not for sale. We will continue doing our part to defend this country right here at home. Now, again, we're excited. We've got several other speakers that will be sharing some thoughts with you. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Bo Mason next, and then we will hear from Representative Candace Perucci on the land follow-up bill, followed by Representative Walt Brooks on the critical infrastructure bill, and then we'll open it up to the media for any questions that you might have. Commissioner Mason.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Governor, and thank you to the other legislative stakeholders that stand with us today. Between the Governor's leadership and our stakeholders enabling us to practice good law through good statute that's put in place, we're able to move the needle on this land security within Utah. And really that's our message today, is that Utah is open to business, but we're not open to entities that threaten our state security or violate our laws. Traditionally, DPS is known and recognized for our response and for our enforcement efforts. But this just highlights one way that DPS, the Department of Public Safety, really is keeping Utah safe beyond our roadways. And so today I'm here to announce the divestment of a large piece of land that we were made aware of utilizing Representative Perucci's statute that was put into place a couple years ago and is being furthered this year. And that is the Twila Sports Park complex that was owned by My Time. So Governor alluded to a little bit of the process and how we do that. And let me start off by saying, first of all, the Statewide Information Analysis Center, the SIAC, is really leading out in our intelligence efforts and our innovative investigative techniques. So the way this process works, this one in particular started with a tip. We also work very closely with the county recorders, so they can make us aware of any land purchases that may be a little suspicious. But this one came through as a tip. We then utilize private sector tracking, and so we're using technologies that go in behind the scenes and track these entities and these purchasers to tie them back to restricted foreign entities. From there, we work closely with federal partners to validate that information we're seeing and use their resources to dig in behind the scenes as well. Through that process, we were able to determine that this My Time was tied to a restricted foreign entity and in violation of Utah law. We worked closely after that with the Governor's Office, the Attorney General's Office, and DFCM to issue a letter of divestment, a formal letter that informed them they needed to divest of the land and they were in violation of Utah state law. From that, we're excited to say we saw swift results. Within a matter of a couple months of moving through this process and issuing that letter, that land has now been divested and is now in the hands of a domestic partner and back in Utah's control. All that to be said, we're utilizing the latest technology, the latest processes, and the best tools we can, and coupling that with good law and good partnerships with our stakeholders and our legislature to continue to move forward, not only with land, but critical infrastructure statewide. This isn't about simply checking a box. It's really about working in depth to be proactive in our enforcement and finding these issues. The intelligence is only the first step. As you saw with all those partners, collaboration is really the key to ensuring that we can be successful in this realm. With that, by applying the same analytical rigor to land security that we do to cybercrime or organized crime, we're going to keep these threats out of Utah and stay one step ahead of these criminals.
Now, you're listening to a news conference on Utah's Capitol Hill. Governor Cox, other lawmakers announcing bills aimed at protecting not just Utah, but the nation's security. The governor saying Utah is home to critical military infrastructure that protects our country, and mentioning Hill Air Force Base. Also announcing, due to the work from the Department of Public Safety, a Chinese company owning property near military installations is now divested of that property, and that property is now under state control. We will have much more. We'll continue to monitor this news conference and have much more coming up on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News.
The 2026 Winter Games on Middays with Maria, live from Milan. Brought to you by America First Credit Union.
Italy is moving ahead with the gold medals in the ongoing Winter Games. They now have 6 gold medals. Norway still leads the pack with 7, with the Americans coming in third with 4 gold medals. Let's get our daily check-in on the Winter Games with KSL 5 TV's Deanie Winmer. Hi, Deanie.
Buongiorno, Maria.
Okay, I'm going to take a step away from the games for just a second and talk about food, because we want to know, have you found any good pizza or a good pizza place there in Milan?
I'll say I haven't found a bad one. But, a lot of Utahns have been writing in, like, on our Facebook pages and suggesting what we have to do or have to try. And we had repeated recommendations for a place called Luini's. So we went and tried it today, and it's called Panzerotti. So it's like a handheld pizza. It looks to me sort of like a baby calzone, but I'm sure that's not what they would call that. But it was good, and it was interesting because there's this big line, but you go in and it's like the menu's right there. You just order it off, you grab it, and you eat it. And we even took Alex Cabrero, who admittedly is a McDonald's freak, and he loved it too. So we appreciate the tips from Utahns and keep them coming.
So, now to the games. There was a pretty big upset today.
Yeah, one of the biggest was in the ice dance, the couple's ice dance. Americans Madison Chalk and Evan Bates have been together for 15 years. They got married 18 months ago. They were expected to win gold, and they came away with the silver. They came to interview the media. They had committed to that, and I'm sure it wasn't something they were looking forward to. But I'll tell you, as we were standing on our interview spots, it was across from the Duomo, and people who were visiting the Duomo across from us could see and recognize who it was that was with us, and you could hear them cheering and yelling "yay" to this couple, and they heard it and waved, and it was just kind of one of those moments that you felt like you felt their disappointment, but you also felt the support and the love that they felt, and that they knew the people still were celebrating with them.
Just gives me goosebumps to think about that, Deanie, just to hear their story. What did they have to say? You mentioned that they were disappointed, but how did they react to their medal?
Well, the one thing they did say they were disappointed. They had aimed for gold, but they did say they thought that was the best skate they'd ever done. And so at the end of the day, that's all they could do. And they brought their moms with them. And so we talked to their moms. And their moms basically said the same thing. They said, as a mom, we thought that it was a gold performance, but all you can wish for is that they put it out on the ice, all of it, and they came away with no mistakes, no injuries, and so they too were happy and proud. And they left saying the real win is basically what skating has brought to them as a family, and it was really touching to hear that.
Yeah, it's so important to hear from the families, because they too sacrifice, just like these athletes, to travel there, to train, all the years of training. So it's wonderful to hear from the families.
Yeah, especially the moms. It was fun to see the moms coming there to support them. So, for sure a disappointment, but you can see all the silver linings of that.
Yeah, we talked about the pizza. I'm just wondering what other cultural things that you have noticed while you've been in Milan.
It's funny. I was just walking past, they have all these designer stores and all the Gucci's and Pradas. I'm seeing leg warmers. Maria, did you ever think leg warmers would come back?
No, in fact, I have a set that I need to really give away.
Hang on to them, because it might make it back over.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I've seen some in the stores.
I bet they're not the same as the old leg warmers, though. I'm sure they are much more attractive.
I don't know. So they're more expensive and more special.
Okay,
somehow,
there
right?
you go. They're more expensive. Okay, we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks, Deanie.
All right, see ya.
That is Deanie Winmer with KSL 5 TV, live from Milan. And join KSL 5 tonight, beginning at 6:30 for the Olympic Zone, an NBC special with Deanie Winmer, followed at 7 o'clock with Luge. the women's snowboarding final, and more alpine skiing. Then stick around for more coverage from our KSL team on the KSL 5 News at 10 o'clock. The 2026 Winter Games on Midday with Maria Shilaos, brought to you by America First Credit Union. America First Credit Union has everything you need to get your money working, so head to americafirst.com and become a member today.
Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Sometimes when our furnace stops working, it's something simple we can fix ourselves, if we only knew how. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the next time your furnace stops working, before you call a company out to fix it, try this first. Go shut the furnace down and make sure your air filter is clean. Go around the house and make sure the vents are open and there's nothing blocking the return air. If it's been a while since you've changed the batteries in your thermostat, go ahead and do that too. Then go turn the furnace back on, and if it stays on, you're probably good. If it stops working again, you're probably going to want a technician to check it out. If you don't know one, Any Hour Services has a special offer for any homeowners listening. One of our HVAC technicians will diagnose and troubleshoot your furnace for only $29. Then they'll explain what they found and present you with repair options. And don't worry, our technicians service all brands. Call Any Hour Services and let them know you heard about this $29 troubleshooting special on the radio. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cypress Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypresscu.com today.
The 2026 Winter Games on KSL News Radio.
A Ukrainian skeleton slider has been disqualified from the Winter Games for refusing to not wear a helmet, honoring athletes who had been killed in the war with Russia. ABC's Patrick Reevell has more.
This is a very painful and very controversial story involving the Ukrainian skeleton racer Vladislav Hereskevich, who had refused, as you say, to take off this helmet while competing, that showed basically photographs of 24 Ukrainian athletes and children who had been killed during Russia's full-scale invasion. And he had said that he insisted on wearing this during the race. The IOC had been pleading with him not to insist on that, saying they offered him alternatives like wearing a black armband to show commemoration and even to be wearing the helmet elsewhere during the Games. But he believed that it was a point of principle and essential to honor his friends who had died during this war. We know that the IOC president tried to have a last-ditch meeting with him, emerged from that meeting in tears after he still declined not to wear the helmet. We've heard also today from President Zelensky calling him a hero and awarding Hereskevich with a Medal of Freedom, saying that also the IOC cannot permit amnesia around the war in Ukraine.
The athlete spoke to the media as he left the Games.
Today was a very difficult day emotionally and physically.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky again expressed support for his countrymen, adding that while Russia is banned from the Winter Games, 13 Russians are competing as individual neutral athletes. A major anniversary coming up this weekend for women's voting rights. More on that in just a few minutes. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Michelle?
Winter conditions really messing up the drive for drivers in Summit County. We're seeing some really big slowdowns due to a crash at Kimball Junction. KSL Traffic Trooper letting us know those snow flurries start in Camas, and I'm seeing them head over to Summit Park. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
A warning on cryptocurrency kiosk scams from AARP Utah. Scammers are getting smarter, and Utahns are paying the price. Criminals are using cryptocurrency ATMs to commit fraud, stealing people's retirement savings and costing Utahns millions of dollars a year. Many scams start with an unexpected call, text, or email from someone claiming to be a trusted source, like your bank, a business you use, or even law enforcement. They'll tell you there's an urgent problem and instruct you to take cash to a crypto kiosk or ATM. They may even stay on the phone pressuring you to act fast and keep it secret. But once you feed cash into a crypto ATM, it's converted to cryptocurrency and sent to the scammer's wallet, and it can be almost impossible to recover. Remember, no legitimate organization will ever ask you to pay with cryptocurrency. Learn more at the rising cost of cryptocurrency scams by visiting aarp.org/UT. A message paid for by AARP Utah.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
This week's movie show brought to you by Sound Sleep. Get a free sleep screening and a free sleep consultation by tuning in on Friday morning. Sound Sleep with 7 locations in Utah.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Amanda, one of my favorite things to do when I go to the theater is laugh. Any show, it doesn't matter. So one that's designed to make me laugh from start to finish, boy, that is in my wheelhouse. And that's what we've got with Peter Pan Goes Wrong.
When we went into the theater, I'm not sure what we were expecting, but we started laughing early on. And then I realized, oh, I'm laughing that big, loud, obnoxious laugh of mine. But mine wasn't the loudest laugh in the theater. We were all laughing, and that made it more fun.
But you walk in, it actually takes a second to realize, oh, wait, this is actually funny from the moment the curtain rises, and it makes you laugh all the way to the end.
We need that, Andy. Don't we need that?
Oh, it's so helpful, and it's so fun to do in a group of people. It just makes everything more enjoyable.
This is in the Jewel Box stage, and then in the brand new theater.
We've got more laughs with Hallmarked, a spoof on that brand new stage, a new theater at Hale Center Theater to enjoy.
And you can still get season tickets and enjoy all of the wonderful shows, including Anastasia, to finish out the year at Hale Center Theater.
So you can get tickets by calling the box office at 801-984-9000 or online at hct.org.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side, your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed, plus free premium delivery with any bed and base. Ends Monday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. On this day in 1870, Utah's acting territorial governor signed the suffrage bill into law. Just 2 days later, on February 14th, the first woman in the country, a Utahn, voted. It was the first time a woman legally voted in the U.S. State Auditor Tina Cannon, one of 2 women elected to the state's executive branch, tells Inside Sources she thinks Utah has a unique role for women in society, so it makes sense that Utah would be the first to allow women to vote.
I think that it was a recognition of just how much the pioneering women in Utah contributed to the society and the hard work it was to set up a homestead, to really build a state. And it took strong women as well as strong men. And I think that was a recognition of how much of a role in society women played at the time. And I'm proud to be part of a state who recognized that.
The auditor says she's proud to continue a legacy of women serving in politics and hopes it only continues to grow.
With Utah being the first state or territory at that time to give women the right to vote, Utah had an amazing spot in the history of women's suffrage for the national movement. But it also takes us to today, that the impact of women involved in government is just as important today as it was then. We continue to need a variety of voices to make good policy, and the more we have a variety of people involved, and that includes women, and the better policy comes out of these decisions. So Utah continues to make history in this area. I'm proud to be the first Republican woman independently elected statewide in Utah. So that it has taken us a while to get to that marker, but we continue to move forward in making progress to have women represented in government.
State Auditor Tina Cannon speaking to Inside Sources about the women's suffrage movement and how it continues in 2026. Valentine's Day is almost here, and a lot of Utahns will start swinging by the store for flowers and chocolates. Mike Wall, owner of Mrs. Kavanaugh's, says it's a very busy month for his business. But how do they even prepare for such a big holiday? Mike says they do what most businesses do. They take a look at the numbers from last year and then predict how much they'll need this year.
Valentine's is probably our second busiest holiday after Christmas. We do about 25% of our business during Valentine's. So luckily we have the holidays. So it's a really, really, really good holiday for us. And generally what will happen is we get the women coming in the last part of January, the first part of February, and then starting about the 3 or 4 days for Valentine's Day, it's mostly men that are coming in.
As you've heard over the past few years, chocolate has gotten quite a bit more expensive, and that added cost making it difficult for small businesses who rely predominantly on it to survive.
We are actually doing good. We've tried to hold our numbers as much as possible and consume all the cost on our end and not raise our prices. So it has definitely been a huge mountain we've had to climb up, and then luckily chocolate prices are actually starting to come down a little bit, so that's helping us out. No, they're not down to back where they used to be, but at least they're down a little bit. So that's been great. So we have not increased our prices like a lot of companies had to, because we actually had a good supply of chocolate built up before the prices went way up. So we've been able to take advantage of that somewhat.
Mike says Mrs. Kavanaugh's also does specials like chocolate-covered strawberries, and this year they're expecting to make about 15,000 to 20,000 of them. Jeff Kaplan's joined me. Do you love chocolate-covered strawberries?
My wife is making them with the grandkids at this very moment.
I love chocolate-covered strawberries. Are you listening, honey? That's what I want.
Okay. Message sent.
Message sent.
Nice work.
Jeff Kaplan is here, obviously. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next. Have a great afternoon.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. 46 degrees. We have a little bit of rain right now. KSL's top story. An outsized number of Salt Lake County residents have asked to have their signatures erased from the petition to get rid of Prop 4, which created the independent commission that drew up the new congressional maps. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson with the latest.
This comes after media reporting from us at KSL and others on a number of people feeling deceived about the nature of the petition by signature gatherers. People like Emily O'Connor, who has asked for her signature to be removed.
After the fact, I was like, I probably should have read that more.
12 people asked to have their signatures removed from last year's petition to overturn a ban on collective